Hello, stream. Hello, everybody. How the fuck is you all doing? Today, we have finally got the second chapter of the 3 for the Call of Cthulhu campaign miniseries. And I do believe I'm going to immediately allow Rose to take over, give us a bit of a rundown of what happened and what we're going to be expecting this session. Rose?
Thank you, Danny, for that lovely introduction.
So formal.
I know, right? Well, we are in Victorian London once again tonight. Our last session saw the meeting of 4 individuals. One, a man of the cloth. Another, a man of war. A third, a woman of intelligence. And the last one was Willy Wang.
It's not Willy Wang, it's
Wilbur Wang.
Wilbur Wang.
Wilfred.
Not Wilfred. I know something Wang.
But these 4 characters met each other at the home of illustrious captain Mr. There is Mr. Henry Albertson, along with his wife Margaret, who had invited you all to take part in a séance as they tried to reach out to the other son, to their recently departed son. Through doing this, you met a young medium along with her assistant. She began to walk you through the usual stages after you guys began to interact a little bit. However, some moments through this actual seance, she seems to be struck with surprise and fear as she called out to somebody, an Ethel. Upon then wondering what was going on, she then threw up black ichor onto the tabletop, was then escorted to the other room as you guys discussed. However, because she was now indisposed, requested for each of you to meet her the next day. Upon meeting her again, she explained that her sister, Ethel, had been missing for a number of days. She usually would return at some point, but had been incommunicado. Nothing. So on this, though, she did begin to explain that her sister was a lady of the night and worked at a bawdy house, which essentially is a brothel in Victorian time. Well, that kind of time period in the 1800s.
It's just a brothel. Like...
You guys, yeah, like a brothel. You guys were all made your way across there after discussing with this to find that the woman of the house was a little less inclined to give you guys information. However, she did somewhat kindly offer a little snippet of information that both Ethel and another woman had been sent to a party. However, Ethel has not been seen since. She owes this woman money, so she's a little bit annoyed with her. The other young lady was sent to, well, Bedlam. Upon hearing this pinged in one of your guys' mind. One of you works at Bedlam.
Do they remember that?
I remember you. I'll take you all there now.
Yeah, because
as visitors, right?
Yeah, because if I remember right, my character's suggestion was that back in the period that there would be a lot of the doctors that would bring people for just treating it like a freak show circus almost, wasn't it? And then that was the hope of you getting us in to see Ethel and maybe not Ethel, sorry. No, that was right. See Ethel and maybe kind of get the lowdown of what the fuck.
No, Ethel's not at the.
Which was the
institution.
It's the unnamed friend.
Okay.
Unnamed friend.
But I think it was that had been discontinued, and I think the plan
it had
was Reverend and Orderly go in
I think it was more you were all going to go in and have a look and try and see if you can gain some information, because at this point you don't know who you're looking for. You know you're looking for a random woman. That's literally it. So I thought it was more
Aren't
you were
we
going to
all?
go have a little bit. Look, we don't need to get into the forever alone right now. Let's
I
just
thought we were looking for
crack through it.
Ethel as well, though.
Yes,
That's
but you
the
don't know where
end
she is.
term goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're following on through this, but I mean, how is any of this real anyway? How do you know what you're looking for? Oh no, genuinely, it's an honest question. How do you know that right now, as you guys walk through the streets, that this is actually happening? Is it real or is it not?
Yes.
No,
How do you
it's
know?
a TTRPG, isn't it?
Because I can feel that it's real. It's real.
Well,
No.
but isn't the interesting thing about what you feel right now is a perception from your mind? It is a sense that your mind interprets and edits anyway. You're not actually experiencing right now what is actually happening, because billions upon billions, well, technically 124 bits of information, 124 million or billion bits of information are currently being processed by your mind.
Is that period friendly scientific knowledge?
Oh no, this is the thing. How do you know that you're actually there right now? That you are walking down the street? How do you not know that you're interpreting it right? That you're not somewhere else, someplace else? Do you
Rose,
believe
put your
something is
Shutter
real?
Island DVD.
I was gonna say, it's not breaking. It's not breaking through.
I'm sitting there trying to work out whether computers were invented then.
They was.
Because I was like thinking whether you can make a
I
reference saying
believe.
what you're
I
saying.
believe
We're in some kind of computer world, or
some
in
of the
some...
original analog
No.
computers were like mid 19th century.
Yeah.
What I mean is, right now, how do you know? You say that you can feel it, right, Danny?
Yeah, it did.
Well,
I'll be honest. The thing you try to do is going over my head.
okay.
How do you know
That's
you're not on
fine.
some massive drug trip right now? How's that?
Or how do you know that you're not in Bedlam?
But we will be in a minute.
We're on our way there now.
I just
Fine.
mean that you know because you can feel, because you can see and you can hear and you can smell and you can taste. It's based on your senses, right? Like you can taste the fog, this weird kind of taste across your tongue, foul from the steam engines that are recently pouring smoke into the atmosphere.
I feel
But
like
you know that it's real.
I feel like trying to answer that question is a bit of a misnomer, and we might as well just move on from that and try and find this Ethel, which is our quest right now.
Okay, I'm just going to leave it. There was a reason I was doing this, but I'm just going to put a bookend in it because it seems like you guys aren't into it.
It's just confusing the shit out of me.
No, I mean, I get basically, I think from my character's point of view, I get your point, but at the same time, there's no point in thinking about it because it distracts from the topic, which is why I was saying that.
I know, but who are you talking to right now?
Myself. Clearly.
Oh no.
So how do you know that you're not the one who's mad?
Maybe I am.
Cool. I am going to leave it there because there was a whole bit, but it seems like tonight you guys really aren't interested in actually following the. So let's just carry on with the story, shall we?
I'm interested. I'm actually
Rose,
genuinely confused as to what you were going
what the
for.
fuck you were even trying to do.
That's fine.
I think Rose was just trying to make the sense of your characters having a thought about sanity and how thin that veil of sanity is. I think that's what Rose was trying to do, and Some guys, some you people have I don't know, the mind of. I don't know.
I think at this point we've seen some confusing things, but I feel like at this stage I'd be more interested in what's causing it. I'm very scientifically orientated, so it's the kind of question that would go
Okay.
not towards.
So you...
I can't see how I can react to that without going down a different character route.
Okay, that's totally fine. But anyway, you guys are making your way to Bedlam. I'm going to ask for a little question, and this is just based on reasons. Wilfred,
Ahoy.
how do you get to work each day?
Never thought about this.
Oh my god, he's going
How
to be
far
an
away?
inmate.
How far away do I live from there?
I don't know, how far away do you live from there?
I'll say walking distance.
Okay. How long does it take you, roughly?
About 10 minutes by bike.
You said
You have a
walking
bike?
distance.
I don't know why you said it. I don't know, 5 minutes by bike, sorry. I think it. Yeah.
Okay. Where do you live currently?
He's going to say a fucking house, Rose. I don't know what he.
Yeah, there's a reason. Just let it breathe.
I wouldn't say a house, I'm gonna say a flat. Would have them back then? Flat type things?
They would have,
Guessing they would,
yeah.
wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You'd commonly have rooms, they'd be called. So where you'd have a main room,
That's what I'm
a
thinking of.
bedroom,
Like a boarding
a
house.
sitting room.
Hmm.
Exactly, yeah.
I knew the term,
Okay.
I can remember what it was though.
I think boarding house is the correct, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is right, yeah.
Remind me what year we're in.
1890.
I thought we were going to
I
have
mean-
2023 then. I didn't. Oh.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you know approximately where you're going because eventually you do sort of pass the area as you're walking through the city where you're like, sometimes I come here for a pint. Oh, okay, so my house is 10 minutes that way. And you manage to kind of, based on the fact that, you spot a pub, you can kind of make your way there. It takes a little bit longer for most of you guys, but it seems like he's following some sort of reasoning to get you to the hospital. And you do almost like it is a big building for modern times. It is a 2-floor building where you can see 2 floors above ground. Obviously, Wilfred, you know that there is a basement level. There are 2 kind of sections coming outside, a wing for the women, a wing for the men, and you know that there is also a section behind for those who are the criminally insane. This has been a recent thing in the past few decades where they would understand that some people who had committed crimes would also be believed to have, whether it be perversions beyond what the normal individual would have, or whether it would be, something not quite right, whether it had been an abnormality, something at birth. This is what you're looking into, Wilfred. I mean, actually, that is a very good question. What is your specific area that you're interested most in? What do you like to do at work?
Ooh. That is a good question.
Uh-huh.
I feel like how would you know that you're not in an insane asylum already is the kind of question that Wilbur would ask. He works in one.
I'd like to just I'll say the treatment side of things. Like trying
The
to fix
treatment.
people.
What kind of
Ooh.
treatments do you use?
There are many types.
Would you like
Yeah.
some support,
I like-
Wilfred, on this? Would you like to ask
No.
for a
Wilfred,
favour?
Wilfred doesn't need support. We know who
No.
needs the support. It's fucking Liam.
Yeah.
Liam, would you like some support of what common practices would be done at the hospital? I
Yeah.
will mention I am going to be a bit wibbly wobbly with time. This is not completely 100% time dependent because at this period of time, Bedlam's starting to get better, but there might be some things. So please, this is not historically 100% accurate. Just
Yeah.
saying that before.
Basically, Rosie's
it's
like,
done.
don't be a dick.
Mm.
Just go with it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. So you would like some. So some of the common practices of Bedlam, as I mentioned last time, would be hot and cold baths. Where they would move people between the two. This would be almost scaldingly hot and ice cold in order to shock the system backwards and forwards. Other things would be placing the individual on a chair and spinning it for that long and for that hard that the person would basically eject everything out of their body. Yep, this was an
Yeah.
actual thing that was done.
Huh. I mean, to be
Oh,
fair,
yeah.
when you
Good
consider
old
some of the
Spinneroonie.
other more well-known practices, that actually seems quite tame.
But didn't they also have don't they also have leeches in these places?
That was more of
Heard
a
about
that was a doctor.
That's a
Doctor. That's doctors, not
Yeah.
psychiatrist.
But didn't
'Cause-
they use them in asylums as well? It was meant to be an imbalance of.
Maybe.
Yeah, but minimal. It
Just-
was mainly the thing they're going to try and do is, and this is going to sound quite horrible, but they would use certain formulas that they know would cause sickness and other
Yeah,
direction.
'Cause leeches
They're trying
were,
to exit.
leeches were used as a means of draining the blood and removing the toxins in the blood that was drained. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Similar to like Chinese cupping and things like that you see nowadays.
Oh yeah. They a common practice as well is to chain up individuals. If they can't hurt themselves, they can't hurt anybody else. Sometimes they obviously protest for you, Wilfred, saying that, no, you know, they're completely sane, but any insane person would say that. There's a lot of other stuff that's getting rather nasty, so we won't go too in depth into it. But there were common practices for people who were suffering with, well, that they said were suffering with certain things. But common practices would be hot and cold baths, being made to walk around. The conditions were filthy. It's not going to be nice when you get in there, just FYI. But yeah, imagine what we would consider tortuous is the best way of explaining it. Also, like burning, small, painful things, stuff like that. Conversion therapy was a thing, but we won't go too in depth into that. Do you know what I mean? Basically, it's not nice.
I don't think they had rotational chairs though. Then did they? So did they just tie it up with the rope and spin it?
It would be right from the top, and then they'd sit
just
on
spin
like this
it,
chair,
and then they just
and they
tie
spin
them
it
on.
and spin
Oh
it.
my god!
Honestly,
I like how that was the takeaway from the entire thing. Like, wait, when were spinny chairs invented?
I was like, they didn't make spinny chairs. I was trying to work out how they do it. So I'm like, so they tie them to the chairs and then tie the chair to the ceiling and then spin them round till it's really tight and then let go and watch them.
Pretty
for
much.
hours and hours and hours. Like, yeah,
How
most
much
people in there.
sick did that produce? My god.
All of it.
Yeah, everything would come out of the body. That's the whole point of it.
To be
It's
fair,
to
the
rid of
tamest one that you said was the hot and cold, because
Yeah.
the Danish do that now. Like, they'll be in like a boiling hot sauna and then they'll go and roll in snow.
Oh yeah, the Finnish,
Because
the
apparently
Scandinavians.
it builds immune system, and the temperature shock apparently builds a healthy heart, apparently. I wouldn't want to fucking do it. Fuck that.
Joe Rogan's nipples. We've seen.
Oh,
Is that the time of the everlasting pill as well, isn't it? Where they had the everlasting pill for a purge. I wonder if they use that as well.
Genuinely, if it was cheap and quick and would potentially do something, like at the moment they are doing quite a lot of rather nasty, sorry, not nice, Jesus, nasty practices.
Well, Well, everlasting pill was just a heavy metal pill that you take, and then it poisons you basically. A little bit of the metal comes off and poisons you, so it makes you really violently sick and gives you diarrhea. And that's supposed to purge your body of like poisons and difficult things and that. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was used as well as another purging thing. Oh, and it came out the other end because it was like a hard metal that wouldn't digest properly. So that's why it's called the everlasting pill, because they'd use it again for someone else.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Like I say, a lot of people that have been admitted, they are actually having problems, but most of the things, like I say, I did a big deep dive into what was considered mental illnesses.
I have a
at this
feeling I
stage.
wouldn't know much about this at this stage because I've mostly been traveling
No.
and seeing pretty things, so I'm going to be surprised.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun for me.
Wilfred, you know that some people have probably taken money in order to get people inside Bedlam. You know, it is one of the places, because even if someone says they're sane, probably might be still insane. So there are people in here that suffer from no illnesses. Most common things as well, you know that a lot of women end up in here due to the fact of female hysteria and nymphomania, and or you get sexual deviances or gender stealing as well. There's all sorts of different stuff going on here. It's going to be a jolly old time. Righto.
I mean...
Oh yeah, famously in the actual hospital, there was a woman who was sent to Bedlam a number of years because she joined the military and served for 2 years as a man. She was discovered and sent to Bedlam. I told you, research, yeah. It was all sorts of different things, like another interesting fact, dementia was used as a bracket term, not for what we know now, but as a bracket term for all sorts of different stuff. Oh yeah, I went real deep dive, guys, to make this as realistic as possible. Well, with some edge of, it is a story. You know what I mean? Thank you, Danny. Could you repeat your "don't be a dick" speech again for me?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
I said it
once.
once.
I feel like there's added stuff.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of stuff, but we won't go too in depth into that. But yes, Wilfred, as you kind of step up, and you said that you take part in the treatment of these individuals.
Yeah.
Any specific speciality? Do you work in the men's ward, the women's ward, in the criminally insane?
I work more with the men.
With men, okay. So, as you make your way through, you know this within this building, you obviously have each of the wings, along with the section for the criminally insane. You also know, I'll give this to you because you do believe that you work here. So, one of the things that you will know is that as each patient arrives, they are recorded. These records, under the Act of 1845, I think, or something along the kind of lines, are kept within the administration office upstairs. An office that you obviously know due to the fact that this is where all of the patient records are kept. You also know at this time of day you're able to access it, even though it is later, well, it would be early afternoon by this point, I would say. There are people milling around, but you know that there is not really. They would probably be workers here or security. What would you like to do?
Okay. I say heading.
Well,
Going to. Yep.
you're more than welcome to lead the way. Who knows this place best, and maybe we can find the records of where this lady is being kept.
This character got real jowl.
I know yours that jelly before.
I was gonna say it's the same level of gel. It's the same level of gels.
Cool. Okay. So.
I remember you said this at the end of the last session. You was like, I didn't expect him to be that jelly.
As we go in, is the reception anything, or do we just kind of able to walk in?
Oh, there is somewhere where you would check in patients, but
Okay.
it's not in the way that you imagine a hospital or institute nowadays. This is more, it's a large room kind of area that you guys are introduced into first to. You can see doors heading off in to your left and right, a staircase above, but underneath there seems to be another door where you know is like the check-in area. But from beyond this point, you can see heavy bars on the doors as well, so it looks like there is some sort of locking and closing area. They're not willing to let people go outside. You do also notice that there seems to be a middle-aged gentleman kind of sitting back in a chair. A newspaper kind of rests on his chest, and he is sound asleep at this point. He is wearing what you would consider to be your guard uniform.
Okay. I was head through, and see what happens if looking to belong there, basically. As staff, not as patients.
Are you going to be able to get us all in?
He's trying. So he begins
He's trying.
darting across this like wooden floor, and it is a fairly new floor as well. The hospital
Ooh.
it moved quite not too long ago from its previous location. So you make your way across into where the double doors are, and this is where you know to be the main kind of hub of where all the workers are. There is obviously the administration office. There seems to be doctors and stuff like that who are milling around further down. There are offices as well for your top leadership. But you get through without the security guard is asleep, so you
Yeah, we
don't
get
need to
through.
worry
Okay.
too much for the moment.
Okay. Yep. Into the admin room we go.
So yeah, you lead them into, and it is quite a large room, to be honest. At this time of day, it does seem to be currently empty. People are out and about. You can see 4 reasonably sized desks made of a lighter wood. They seem to have chairs that have been tucked in, but they are covered with all sorts of different papers. There are sets of bookcases as such, where there are books upon books, but these books seem to be like, the thin leather. There seem to be case files, basically, stacked upon top of each other. You know this to be where most of the patient records are. You also know that there is the intake book that does currently stay most of the time within this room, unless someone is being admitted, which is then when it moves to the inpatient rooms. But it is a large, heavy book that you can see on one of the desks.
Okay. So that's kind of the book you're going to be going to then.
So you, as a group, move over to the book and open it up. You can see name upon name upon name, going back to maybe the day that the records were put in. It is only a third full at this time, and you can see the date that the patient was brought in, their name, their the reason for admission, and their current status. On a lot of these, it says released or dead, released or deceased.
Well, we don't have any name at the moment, so should we go by date and the date?
Yeah, if we go to the
event
latest
happened?
ones.
I believe we was given a name by the brothel owner.
We were given Ethel's name, but I thought we didn't think that Ethel's here.
No, Ethel is the sister of the psychiatric.
Psychic, yeah.
That one.
That's the one we're looking for, though, isn't it, Ethel? But we don't think she's here, so we're looking for the other one that was here that we didn't get a name for.
Yeah, we did by the brothel owner, because there was 2 that were sent, and the one the one we're looking for went missing. Ethel went missing.
Yeah.
It was the other one that got sent to Bedlam, and we did get a name. I just can't remember what it was. I'm trying to find my Google Doc with my notes on, but I can't find where the fuck I've saved it. I'm desperately trying to find it because I thought I'd saved it in my D&D PC, like player characters, but I haven't. I don't know where the fuck I've saved
I
it.
don't know what I've done with my notes either. I don't know why. I thought we said you ain't got a name. It's a while ago.
Yeah, because I remember making rough notes as we were playing, but
Can't we do like a Cthulhu history check?
It doesn't work like that in Cthulhu, I'm afraid.
yeah,
History doesn't work in the same way. The whole idea is about you guys gathering information. For me to then go, it doesn't work in the same way.
Yeah, it's basically find your notes or suck eggs.
Yeah,
In these kind of
I've kind of
cases.
lost my notes thing. I've got a list of random shit that makes no sense. Don't think is
Have you
related.
done a search, Danny?
Welcome to my brain.
Oh, what's another thing that might have to help?
Oh! Wait, yes. I think.
Fountain?
E
See, I don't remember giving you the name, but I might have done.
I've got Orthelia Virgo, but I don't know why I've got that down.
Ophelia Gold is
That was
the
the psychic.
medium.
That was the medium we were talking to, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Or the spiritualist.
Mercy was
Mercy.
that was it.
Yeah.
Ethel and Mercy. Yeah, no, what it is, for some reason I'd called the document description and notes. That's very, very awful to find, yeah. When I searched Oswald, like, because I'd writ Oswald in the document, it found it. Yes, so
I do have
it was Ethel and
question.
Mercy. Ethel went missing, owing the woman money. Mercy came back with some sort of, quote marks, madness from the fancy party, and the whole point was to try and talk to Mercy, find out who, like, ordered them, and, like, where, you know what I mean?
I'm looking for
I knew we'd been told. I knew that for 100% fact. I just, you know what I mean?
There is a wrinkle in that.
Oh.
Is that just her stage name?
Yeah, we don't know.
I was
going
going
to
to ask, does anybody have a common knowledge of body houses or individuals? Maybe that would work.
I think we already knew that. I think when we went there, they all had like their government name and then their body house name.
We don't know if that's their name or not, but
Well, it seems odd then that Ethel didn't have a stage name, because I'm sure that would have been told to us otherwise. Because we could have gone asking, "Oh, do you know fucking Ethel?" And they're like, "Who the fuck's Ethel?"
They did. A lot of them didn't know until we just got to the owner. Like the owner knew Ethel's real name was Ethel. Everyone else knew it someone else, didn't they?
But don't forget the only two people you've spoken to are the owner of the brothel and her sister, who would have given you their real name.
Oh yeah, no,
it's likely...
we asked other people and they didn't know. No one. We asked other boarding house people on the way to the owner and they didn't know Ethel.
To be fair, they're not gonna know shit, am they?
I mean, they were hitting on you guys as well.
Yeah,
they were trying to make
yeah, like, come on, remember who you would, like, the common street woman ain't gonna fucking know shit.
But we don't know if
that's for Mercy in the book, then.
But we can have a look for Mercy, but we can look at the date.
Date admitted, yeah.
Do you say we have the date admitted as well? Do we know the date? Do you think we can work out the date that they would have been admitted from?
It was a week prior. Like, you know that it would be within the last 7 days.
Yeah, so you
like,
could probably...
So we look back for 7 days, see if anyone's under the name.
I would say 2 weeks.
You could look for prostitutes that were admitted a week ago for madness.
Yeah, you could just look for that, and if you can find someone with the name of Mercy, great. And if not, you can just go through all the ones that are prostitutes that have been admitted in the last 2 weeks.
You flick to the last page, which has any admissions listed on them, and you see within the last 2 months there are 2 names. It is most people. You wouldn't get people coming in every day, like it just doesn't. Yeah. So in the last 2 people. In the last 2 months, there are 2 names. You find this immediately to be quite strange, Wilfred. Something kind of doesn't look right.
You think it's been messed with?
Actually, Shall we make you do a check to see how much information? It doesn't look right. But give me a spot hidden roll because you're trying to decipher, maybe?
Oh. Okay.
Or library use.
Oh,
Well,
Oh, nice. Very nicely done. So what you discover is, as you're kind of looking at these two names, one is Mercy. Mercy was her given name. You also see another name with it. Like I say, there are two names in the book. Both of them, in the last 2 months, were input on the same day. Does that make sense? So both of them were in on the same day.
What's the other name?
The other name is a gentleman.
Mr. Wang.
Not Wang. Robert.
Robert what?
Oh, sorry. Give me a second. I'm looking for my notes. Robert Cooper.
What about the Mercy's? Is Mercy got a surname?
Mercy does not have a surname with hers.
So it's just down as Mercy.
Yeah.
Does it say what they're admitted for?
Yeah. So Mercy's, it says that she was admitted for nymphomania, female hysteria, and mania. For Robert, it says that he was submitted to the criminally insane department based on sexual deviances and dementia.
So if we found the young woman, we can go
I
and
will
speak to her.
point out, just as well for
I will say
the
this: the
addition
sexual
of
deviances. So go on.
sorry, I was just going to say, you can see as well, Wilfred, it doesn't mention that the person. So this is unstandard practice. There seems to be something that is showing up because most people are kind of. You would know if somebody had actually been committed of a crime and then sent to Bedlam. Does that make sense? Like, this person was admitted and went straight to the criminally insane without actually have been sentenced. Kind of unusual. And both of them were input in the same day.
Do you share any of those thoughts out loud, Liam?
I'll share it is strange, yeah.
Well, this at least leans into my suspicion a little more, because I've had my fair run-ins with the silver-spooned lot in the mansions and the various other abodes. Probably wouldn't be terribly unsuspicious if they were in fellowships with some deviances and wished to cover themselves up and maybe rush certain admittances and stuff. I've heard some of the officers even make talk about this when they think none of the others are able to hear quite so well.
Are you saying this Robert Cooper, these gentlemen put him in here for a purpose?
I'm
Took him
just
out the way.
merely speculating that it's not the only time I've ever heard of someone being accused of crimes or illnesses if they maybe know something that they shouldn't or got caught in the wrong room at the wrong time. If someone has the king's coin, then well, certainly it will be used.
I do think we should interview Mercy first because she's the one that we know is involved. The other one may or may not be involved in the same incident. Could be coincidence.
Does the book mention where Mercy is currently being held?
Well, I guess it'd be
That's
the
me.
female wing.
Wilfred?
Yep.
Does
It would be the female wing, I would say.
No, but
I mean, does he say in the book?
Yes. It says the female wing.
Okay.
And
Then
then
I'm guessing Robert's in the criminal section.
I was more saying in case I didn't know if there was like subcategories of the female wing, like you said, criminally insane. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know if there was subsections.
It's hard to say whether or not
there's
there are
no-
rooms.
yeah.
How do they
Okay.
find these people? Are they categorized by where their rooms are, or are they? Did you say they're all in one
It's
bedroom
Bedlam.
today? So they're all
Like,
in a room together, is it? Or
And it's more so Wilfred, you would know this. You would have sections of this area that are simply open rooms. So these are quite cold rooms. Like the glass it's not properly what's the word, insulated. So everything. So the basement floor, which is where you would find the more grottier areas where the treatment would happen, are damp constantly. The top 2 floors are incredibly windy. People are in rooms that have small little openings so you can see into them. It would literally be whatever room's available, you put someone in there. It wouldn't really be, and people would get switched around. They're not going to be in nice conditions, basically. It's going to be cold, it's going to be horrible, and it's just going to be random.
Well, it's going to definitely take a while. I say, Wilfred, do you know if there's like a cloakroom? If we're going to be here a while, we may as well at least borrow some similar fashion. Make ourselves look more presentable like yourself.
I mean, I guess there would be, wouldn't there? Somewhere where they've got some.
You can lead is literally just up the place where you would put your overcoat and stuff like that and switch it out. Even though, do you have an overcoat?
I'm wearing it.
No, you're wearing your lab coat. Do you have an
a
overcoat?
lab coat. Oh, no, doesn't have a lab coat. No, doesn't have a lab coat.
Are we? I think Oswald was suggesting wearing lab coats.
Yes, to blend in,
Yeah.
because, you know.
Yeah, so let's head down to the.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make
It
sure,
was just
because
an
that would
in-character.
be...
It was an in-character thing of let's go to like the laundry room or something, grab ourselves some lab
There
coats.
is a cloakroom.
Yeah.
I was going to
If
say,
that makes
I
sense.
imagine...
Just so if another actual doctor comes, we don't stand out.
This might be a bit of a funny question, but would I be able to go in here without it actually raising suspicion?
You can't
There's
leave.
no such thing as a woman medical practitioner currently.
I know,
Just saying.
that's why I'm saying
yeah.
that maybe I'm best off
Doctor.
staying outside and you bring stuff out to me, because I feel like if I go, it might scupper you guys.
You could be maybe, women wouldn't work at this period of time. I don't think you'd even have nurses right now. I don't know, Danny, would you know?
I wouldn't want to be admitted.
Would you know that there's no female medical practitioners?
Yeah,
right now?
I just don't. I don't want to get
No.
arrested and put in
about the
Bedlam
only-
for sexual. What was the word? Gender
Gender
stealing?
theft, yeah.
Gender theft.
There would be attending, like, you would have nurses, like, you know how nurses like have a stereotypical feminine job, because nurses were allowed, but they were glorified bedside like cleaners, like they would just change bedpans and things like that. They wouldn't actually do anything.
Probably have none.
So I could dress up like a nurse and go to the bedpan.
You could also potentially, but good luck finding
Be a
it.
nun.
You could be a sister. You could be like someone who's maybe offering prayer and like peace to the troubled.
Like a nun.
Yeah, but
So
good luck
you-
finding a nun's garb.
Wilfred, there is of course a cloakroom where you know that people will put up their own personal belongings and switch into their more medical appropriate, where like lab coats will be placed, especially for the younger doctors here at Bedlam, the ones who don't have their own offices, including yourself, you believe. So
you believe? You're not
you
sure where your clothes are.
They're on me.
So you can lead the rest of the group down to this, your party of investigators to the cloakroom. It seems to be a room with do you remember the cloakrooms back in school, the ones with the wooden benches, and then you'd have a row where hooks would be, just above them. You would put your shoes under the bench.
What?
Okay,
Do
I'm
you
talking
mean
about
like a PE
Chris-
Do you mean like a PE changing rooms?
Yeah,
Kind of.
but cloakrooms. So
What?
I think we went to very different schools.
I don't think my school had. My school didn't have a cloakroom. That went that posh. My God.
What?
You
Well,
do know a cloakroom is literally just coat
Like
hangers.
pegs.
Yeah, but you don't
It's
have
not
coat
fancy.
hang-
It's not fancy. You just go in, you put your coat up, you walk out. It's basically a closet, a big closet.
It wasn't
Okay.
walled with mahogany or anything. It was just.
No,
like...
you had to have it on. You had to put it on the back of your seat. You have somewhere else to put it.
Wow, you were
Okay,
really went to a poor school. Fuck.
What? You get a tray.
They couldn't afford
And
a
I-
fucking nail on
we
the
had-
wall.
When I was at school, when I was at primary school, we had a tray, and then you put you put your all of your
Like a
sort of
cube.
pencils. You put your pencils and stuff in your paperwork in the
like
tray.
in my primary school, outside
and
the
then
classroom,
your
there
coat
was
goes on your.
Yeah.
outside
on
the
your
classroom there
thing.
was a bench with like a row of hooks on, and it had like
Yeah,
2 or 3
there's-
classrooms worth
Yeah.
of coats on it.
They still exist. They most
They exist. Okay, I'm not going insane, right?
primary schools I've been to have still have that. I don't.
Fucking hell.
Okay. So the room that you guys come upon, it has a set of double doors which has like dingy glass in. You know those kind of glass doors where there is like loads of small squares above each other. So you can kind of see in, but it is very dingy and the glass is sort of warped, so it's very difficult to actually get an impression of people in there. As you guys enter, you can see on the outsides of the walls are a variety of hooks with all sorts of different coats of different styles. Some of them are middling to higher wealth range. Most people who work here are probably paid a very good wage, especially if they're hanging their coat up in this cloakroom. Like I say, there is a bench that kind of runs along the bottom half of the room as well, and you can see there's stuff kind of tucked under, like anything that might be of valuable, anything that might be a tie of some sort, or anything that could be used to injure the individual, are kind of tucked under there. You do see as well in the far end of the corner a massive kind of bin, a laundry basket kind of deal, that is absolutely filled with dirty, stained clothing. There are a number of lab coats, like I say, and there are even some we would say that probably, yeah, there are some nurses ones, but they seem to have just been like folded neatly on top. Well, no, they would be in the dirty bin, I'm sorry. You wouldn't get that many women changing in a cloakroom like this, but there are a variety of lab coats, and you can go and have a look if you need to find a nurse's uniform somewhere. So I'm guessing you guys
grab what
grab
we
some
need.
lab
Yeah,
coats?
yeah.
Mm.
Just throw
Yeah.
them over,
Yeah.
button them up if can.
Oh, it's not too much trouble. You even kind of looking around do find a set of spectacles in one of the areas, so you can put those on to try and hide your identity. It's just a thing. Eventually, Wilfred realizing that this would probably not be the place where, like I say, a nurse would put on their uniform, you can send Rosa to going basically to where the nurses' chambers would be, so she can change.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I'm just saying.
remove my dog tag, just a dog collar.
Cool. Oh.
Dog tag.
wrong character.
Tango Jesus going
s-
dark.
Tango Jesus going dark.
Preaching clear, boys.
Preaching clear. Yeah.
Preaching, as in like a preacher.
Instead of breaching
Yeah,
clear,
yeah,
it's
that's a
preaching
joke,
clear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh, I want to change the episode title, Danny, to Breaching Clear.
To preaching
No.
clear.
Breaching Clear, damn it!
That
But
was
yes,
quick,
you
I
are
like it.
able. That was very good, very funny.
We first came out when we played that weird Exorcist game. And they were
Oh,
like,
right, that's
check
where
your
it came
corners,
from, yeah.
preaching clear. Yeah, but it works.
I forgot that was a thing. I thought you made it up.
Well, I think I made it up that time as well, but I'll bring it back.
Full circle.
But yes, you are able to disguise yourselves in the garb of the medical practitioners here. I assume, Wilfred, that you're going to lead them into the ladies' wing?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's easy enough. You step out of the admin area and make your way through to the wing where most of the female inpatients are kept. Going through a heavy set of doors where you can see there does seem to be some sort of locking mechanism on the other side. As soon as you step through those things, it is almost like a shift. Like I say, the newer building, isn't very well insulated, so you can even hear as you kind of step through the wind coming through small kind of nooks and crannies at the side of windows, and you can hear it. You know that weird whistle sound that happens when that you're in an old building, and it's this weird creak. With every step you make, you do feel like the slight creak of the floor. Yeah, and as you kind of make your way forward, on each side of this area, you do see as well at the end of the corridor that you are making your way down, there is a set of stairs heading up, and you can assume by the dark space next to them a set of stairs heading down, because you guys are on the ground floor currently. Because we will use the British system, because I'm not going to go with the American one. I'm sorry.
Well, we're kind of British, Rose, so you know.
British.
Yeah. I'm just saying, this is also for Knight, who I can see is in the chat, and this is another thing that is different between. But yeah, as you kind of make your way down, and you can see into each of these rooms through the thin panes of glass, and you see woman after woman, or an empty space. These women seem to be in various states of undress, haggard looking, their bones sticking out of their skin almost. What once was probably a very pretty or even just a hale and hearty woman has been reduced into, well, these pitiful people. As you kind of make your way down, some women shy away from the doors as you step along with some sort of fear. Others look at you and there's just vacant, nothing there. You even see, as you're kind of walking along, a wide variety of women of varying states of, like I say, perceived illness. Some are kind of covered on their arms, because most, like I say, it's almost jarring for most of you men, because most, like I say, most of these women are in barely anything. They are in hospital gowns, would be the best way of explaining it. But back in those days, it's well above the ankle. Yeah. Yeah. And you can see that some of them have like scratched at their skin, so they've got these deep welts that have scarred and like seem to be scabbed over with time, and they're just sitting there picking at their skin. Another woman that you pass has lost most of the hair on her head, and you watch as she kind of reaches up and like catches one of the very fine hairs in her hand and pulls, and then goes on to the next one and pulls. And as you guys keep making your way down looking for it, you can see under each of the room numbers there is a small kind of piece of what's it called? Graphite, like a little graphite plate. That's right, isn't it? Like the ones that you would write chalk on. There's graphite, isn't it? Am I thinking of the right thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can see as well they've written in chalk the names beneath it, and eventually, as you're kind of getting towards the end of this, you see a door, small in it, and you see, a woman who's kind of turned away from you. Her back is to the door, and you read "Mercy" underneath the window. What would you like to do?
Let's knock first, see what happens.
No.
We're gonna be polite
Okay.
here. That gives a little knock on the door.
Okay.
Yeah, as you kind of knock, you watch as her whole body kind of jumps and jolts, and she's still looking away from you guys. but you watch as her hand that's almost kind of gripping onto the threadbare nature of the gown that she's currently wearing. You can see on this thin mattress that she's lying upon, it is made of hay. It is like old school. It's made of hay. You can see all these like little bits of hay sticking out a bit. She's kind of sitting upon it. There is no blanket, no pillow or anything with her. It is simply a stone box with a mattress that she's currently sitting on. And as you can kind of see, like the room's fairly dingy. It's not very nice. There is a chamber pot in the corner as well, I might add, because yeah, it's not gross, but it's still gross. But as you kind of knock on the door, like I say, she kind of grips on, and you can see her knuckles turn white on the side of her gown, and she just doesn't look. Still staying away from you, but it's almost like she knows you're there. What do you do, Wilfred? Or anybody?
Hmm.
Are we inside the room at the moment?
No. The door is between you and her.
Yeah, let's just open the door and go in.
You watch as you kind of open the door, she is shuffling away from the door slowly. Like she's trying, almost like somebody moving around a predator. She is slow and she's steady, but she is trying to move away as she kind of shuffles over the mattress to near to where the wall is.
Hello, we're not here to hurt you. We just want to ask you a few questions.
Maynard will sort of step into the side and be like, "It's okay. We're here to try and find Ethel."
Ethel?
Yes, your friend. Her Ethel's sister is concerned about her at the minute. We're trying to find where she is. Can you help us?
Why do you need my help?
The last. It's okay. Last time she was seen was at the mansion with you and her. We need to know where that is.
But she's gone.
Where?
And she'll kind of turn to look at you a
I'm
little
gonna
bit,
say
but you're getting like
I'll kind of give you a give your character a nudge, Ben. Just kind of.
on
What,
the
like,
side.
be
She
wary?
Like
Yeah.
no, more like that gone.
She dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that gone.
Yeah, but you'll see, and she's not looking at you guys directly, but she'll turn so you can see her side profile, if that makes sense. How do you not know?
She hasn't been anywhere in a number of days now, and her sister has grown deeply concerned. We went to visit the house where both of you worked, and she has not been there neither, which is eventually talking with the matron there how we come to find out about yourself. And we thought, considering you were the last one to speak with her that we were aware of, that who would be the one to possibly know anything.
Oh, I know. I I I know everything. Do you not know?
No, we do not.
Can you tell us what happened?
You should leave. You
Oh,
seem like nice people.
we plan to. As soon as we can find we need to find this house, this mansion. I feel like this could unlock. They might know where she went or what happened to her.
But you'll die. If you're lucky. If not, you'll see it.
Why? What's wrong with this accommodation? Are the people that live there dangerous? Miscreants? Criminal?
Don't you see? They own us. They rule over us. They decide every decision and they get to play in the playground that they have made for generations, and we suffer.
Out of character. You know, Ed from Shaun of the Dead. I fucking knew it!
They,
Who's they?
the Brotherhood, they called themselves. As they, I don't mean to be crass, miss, but as they took delight in the Scarlet Women they had requested. They did something though. It was, I don't think I was, or we were supposed to stay or see. And she'll kind of like immediately look away from you all, and you watch as like her hand goes down and she starts like scratching at her knee, like until it's starting to like well up with blood, and she's trying either to forget or to remember. Like this weird in between state is what's kind of getting to her so much. Like her brain and her body is trying to comprehend whatever she witnessed, and is just trying to control in that way that, unfortunately, pain sometimes can help to focus. And she's kind of looking away from you. I don't. It's strange. Such oddity. Like I have never seen before. The roiling creatures. I don't. Like nothing I've seen before. They called out to them and offered control, and they accepted. And now we are offerings to them. I don't know, this is... Can you get me out of here? Please. I don't know what they're going to do.
Looks to Wilfred.
Do you ever notice his outfit anywhere? Do we go back and get one?
Who's they?
And this time she'll kind of whip round, and she's moved not like inhumanly fast, but just as somebody who is very kind of like, she's upon you before you even know it. And she's not upon you, but like in your face so fast. And she just goes, "Our masters."
Did this Robert? Are they going to do the same to you as this Robert Cooper?
Who? Oh. Do you mean Coops?
Yes.
He didn't do anything. Why? How do you know his name?
He's here in the criminally insane ward.
Mm-hmm.
You were both admitted together.
I didn't know he was involved. He's not. And she'll kind of step a bit further away from you at this point. He's one of the Poppy gang.
The Poppy Gang?
Poppy Gang, do we know who that is? Oh, yeah.
Oh, roll for me. Let's have a look at what this might be. If anybody's got any suggestions of skills, please shout them out.
Well, I
Dude,
could
What's my good at? And I'll suggest that.
I could, depending on. I'm assuming by Poppy Gang you mean an actual gang.
Gang.
If they operate in more rural areas, like outside of the main city, maybe like running and stuff using the canals, like you know of, I could potentially use my rural role, but that depends on how and where they operate.
Yeah, go for that. It's depending on what you think your character would use to know this information about the Poppy Gang.
Never mind. This is a shame too, because that was close.
Let's have a look.
I don't know how this works, but like I've got the listen skill. Could it been like I'd listened to some like the congregation in the past, like people spoken to
I
me?
believe listen is perception.
Yeah, I think
Not exactly. That's spot hidden.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Listen, so interpret and understand sound, including overheard conversations, mutterings behind closed door, and whispered words in a cafe.
Yeah, because spot hidden
if anybody's
and listen are like perception split.
Yeah. Spot hidden sometimes can be like the GM wants for you to see something. They're going to ask you to do a spot hidden roll. Do you spot it? It's like your passive perception.
Right.
A lot of the
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Anybody can roll law if they'd like to.
Law.
Oh no.
Yeah, LAW.
I've got library use, whether I'd have seen it. I've got listen as well. I've also got occult, but is occult knowledge?
Oh, Ben.
That'll one off.
Yeah, but the piss take was it was a 5, and you got the one above.
Yeah.
Buddy.
That was one off. One off.
Buddy.
I could try
Oh, no.
history. I've got quite a lot on history, but I don't know how old this group would be.
Technically, yesterday's history.
Also, maybe if you've got some sort of botany skill. I'm just having a look now. Is botany a thing? Like science botany?
Yesterday.
Or natural worlds, maybe?
Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That's why it is called the present.
Oh,
So
dear.
if you have any natural skills in sciences, or if you have as well, like I say, a natural world skill, which I think you might have, Hannah.
I have natural world. I also have history. My history is slightly better, so do you think natural world would be more appropriate for this?
Yes, it would.
So you want a natural world roll?
Yes, please.
And here we see the Poppy
There
Gang
we
in
go.
their natural environment.
So the reason why I've asked for a natural world roll is because poppies ping something in your mind.
Ah.
You know poppies to be used in the creation of a drug.
The
Opium.
opium.
You're basically talking about opioids, aren't you?
Yeah.
No, opium. It is the big OG drug.
Morphine.
Like,
Well, opioid is where it comes from.
yeah. So yeah, opium essentially. They were prevalent in Victorian society. You know there to be potentially some opium dens across the city. And as you kind of ping, you're like, they're probably a gang that's involved with that sort of stuff, or maybe used to be, or there's something attaching them to opium.
It's me immediately thinking that might have something to do with the visions of things.
Sorry?
So,
I missed that, Hannah. What did you say?
I was saying, me now thinking that might explain some of the weird happenings.
Mm.
Look, if we will do what we can to help yourself, but Mercy, we need to know this brotherhood. Where is their mansion? I'm sure that you would understand that Ethel's sister deserves to at least know closure if he's gone like you say.
I don't know. It was dark, and we were in a carriage for a few hours, couple at most. I don't know. It was at night. I've never been outside the city.
See,
I'm sorry, I can't help.
you've helped.
Can you get me out?
You have helped. Liam, did you go to say something?
I said
Wilbur,
earlier,
can you
just
do anything
maybe try to
for her?
get. Maybe try to get Nutty's outfit and help her get out, maybe.
Oh.
We can go back and get another one. We can try to dress her up as well.
Maynard,
Yes.
you're still wearing your vicar vestige underneath, correct?
Yes.
Is it a cassock?
No, it's be Methodist, so it just it wouldn't
Yeah.
be too fancy. It's probably more like a black suit.
So you wouldn't be too
Do you-
out of place if you were to disrobe of the overcoat and hand it this young lady here.
Well,
Probably.
dog collar goes back on now, so it's
Yeah.
priest mode.
I set my priest in attack mode and end my turn.
So as she pulls on this kind of thing, and it does dwarf her slightly. I mean,
Yeah.
Mercy is a smaller woman. She's maybe about 5'1", 5'2", with a kind of a heart-shaped face. Quite a pretty young woman, but you can see the kind of starts of maybe a lot of use from like tobacco and stuff like that. She's maybe going to show some age in about 10 years. Seems to be mid to late 20s. And as she kind of puts it on, she stops. You kind of notice she has been shivering a little bit for a period of time, and this seems to comfort her somewhat. She kind of stands up, and she is completely like shoeless. There is nothing on her feet, bare feet, and thankfully your coat actually covers more of her than the gown did before. And she'll kind of like stand up and just be like, "If you can distract the guards, I'll run out the door and go.
He's
Thank you."
more than distracted in slumber.
Thank you. Hopefully, I can pay this. I don't know what. And she'll literally at this point like book it out the door away from you all and is just
Hang on,
going.
I'll kind of just like before she leaves, like kind of just stop for a second. Just don't go back to where you were originally staying, for I fear you may just be brought back here.
I would
I'm
change
gonna
your
go.
name and never mention what's happened to anyone else.
I think I'm going to go. You said Ethel's sister was looking into this. If I go and talk to her, maybe. Do you think she'll be able to help me get out the city?
I believe that is a fine start. And if you explain what you have already told us, I'm sure it will put some pieces together for her and bring her comfort, so I can't see why she wouldn't if she could help you. I will tell her the address where we met Ethel, and I will basically just say, like, him, the guy that was with her, like, give the name of that, just so she knows who to ask for and stuff.
Yeah, and she'll kind of like nod at you, and she'll kind of grasp your hand for a second, which is a little forward, but you get the impression she's used to a little bit more touching than just her holding your hand for 3 seconds.
I know, nowadays, hand-holding, pretty lewd.
Just roll the spot hidden for me, please, Danny.
Shit.
you wonder if something maybe you ate. You like a good pie, right? Like we'd established
yeah.
this about your character.
All pie.
Good old
Yeah.
pork pie, yeah.
He doesn't sound that jolly without having a pie.
Would the rest of us be
no,
able to notice
jelly in the stash, like proper.
No. You feel maybe the last pork pie you ate is maybe not settling in your stomach. You know when you get that bubbly belly kind of situation, and it feels like, oh, in an hour or two something might get a bit weird. But yeah, you're getting indigestion and you're feeling a little like you've got bubbles at the top of your
Bombardier,
stomach.
porcelain command.
Need to make a hasty. No, you're gonna be all right. You just might need to eat.
No, it's fine.
You know,
I get
drink
exactly what you
some
mean.
ginger or something. Yeah. But at this point, she will kind of rush out of the room and exit and leave Bedlam. And you can almost hear her footsteps like slapping against the thing as she goes out, and you can hear after about 5 seconds just an oi, and you can see from the window because her room was kind of looking out in that direction. She's kind of running past, and about 6 minutes later, you see a man who's kind of like, as he's like stopping and leaning against the kind of iron fencing.
Wait, you saying she
and
got
just kind of
caught?
waves his hand. No, she's basically he's woken up afterwards because of the sound of her feet, and he's obviously startled and do it, but she's managed to escape, and he's standing out there, out of breath, just like, oh fuck it, someone else will catch her.
I do believe that we have one other visit to make. If Mercy, and I'm saying this quiet, so obviously the guard who's gasping don't hear if he's nearby. I think this.
He's about 200 feet away from where you are. You guys
I mean,
are.
I think we have to be quite careful now, guys, because I mean we've just
Yes.
released a prisoner and they might be on high alert now. So
Prisoner is a harsh word considering where we are, but
what they will consider it.
But at the end of the day, I do believe we have one other stop to make, because if Mercy was aware of this gentleman, it sounded like if they were inducted on the same day, that they might be affected by the same causation.
The issue is, prisoner, she was not, but the next person we will go to see, it will be in prison. Criminal ward is a jail.
Yes, well,
I suspect the security will be much more stringent.
But our dear Wilfred here was actually working in those parts. At least this was slightly more unknown territory for the boy.
I think he was working in the male section of this being the medical area, but now we will be heading to the criminal area where I suspect there will be guards and our presence will be challenged.
Yeah,
Good point.
Wilfred?
I think there will be some guards around there, yeah.
And I'm assuming those of a more acuity than pubs over there.
Yes, I suspect security will be far more stringent.
So do we not try to talk with the man, or do we maybe look into this brotherhood?
Maybe we try. I could go in and say it's been requested I go speak to Robert.
It sounds like something that you might unfortunately have to go in alone, but sounds more than fair.
Wilfred, could you gain access as well, or was that? Are
Yeah,
you
come
not
along,
committed to
yeah.
that area?
I can try.
Some of the things that this Mercy
I mean,
explained.
at least I
is...
actually.
Go on.
I say at least you work here properly.
Yes, a number of things that Mercy mentioned unfortunately rang rather true. I do believe if we are to continue looking into this matter and maybe find what remains of Ethel, I would like to go home and get my service revolver. As a minimum precaution.
Yes. I'm just pondering the use of my hunting shotgun. I will go.
A priest,
Not right now.
A priest, to the A priest of your caliber with a shotgun. Now that is jolly entertaining. Do you
Guess I
hunt?
come from the countryside, dear friend, so...
Everyone and their mums is packing around there.
Like who?
Priests.
Who else?
Priest mums. No. So yeah, basically it sounds like you two are going to go in, because obviously priest and actual doctor, I think it's fair that my and Hannah's character are probably going to be best to wait outside of Bedlam.
The best
Just
chance.
because, yeah, if anything does go wrong, at least you have a priest, an actual clergyman, and someone who's actually employed there, whereas us two could very much throw it under the bus.
Yeah, I'm staying out. Yeah, I'm staying out of this one.
Yeah, we can both wait outside together. I think that's probably for the best.
So yeah, Wilfred, you are able to say to both Rosa and to Rosa and Oswald that they can head out. There is like a set of like doors that kind of lead outside, like a back door almost, down, just like offset from the admin area. That you guys, because you could get changed back into your things, exit out without actually encountering the now awake guard in the main foyer.
What
so
time?
You guys can exit.
What time of day would this be?
I would say it would be about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon at this point,
So
because you
in
met
theory,
in the morning when
just out of curiosity, could I go to the nearest library to try and research this poppy cult and this poppy gang and anything about these strange creatures? What did she tell us
you're a
about
smart
We're not told us much,
person.
actually.
You're going to assume that anything that Mercia says is probably not in a library. She's talking about criminal gangs and weird shit. It's very difficult unless you have an occult library. You're not going to know at this point. I'm sorry, Hannah. I just thought that would make more sense to let you know now, but you're not going to get information on a criminal gang.
I'm just trying to think of what I can do in this time, but I'm just trying to think of what I can actually research, because there's not going to be a lot. I mean, sometimes you get some weird books, don't you, in these kind of places as well, don't you, to do with the
if you've got a
paranormal
specific
and
that you
things
might.
like that. At this point, I might be reaching at the paranormal things.
I mean, you can still go, and I will give you the amount of information I think would be supplies based on the roll that you make.
I mean,
it's completely up to you.
It's that or stand outside staring at a prison feeling like a spare part anyway, so I'm kind of like, maybe this is an excuse to pretend.
Would you like to go as well, Oswald, or are you just waiting?
Yes, I think it's unfitting a lady to travel alone.
I think I might be able to, I might do some research into the paranormal. More than, because I know I'm not going to find anything on the gang potentially, but might find some kind of strange reports of strange happenings or weird events that involve black bile. I don't know. There's probably going to be a lot of those, but...
Cool. So you four are going to split into 2 twos at this point.
2 twos.
We're going to have the preacher and the practitioner, and the explorer and the soldier, right? So how about we start with our preacher and practitioner at this point? You guys are still here. As you, I assume, make your way to the area for the criminally insane, is there anything else that you would like to do on your way, or any preparation that you do before going into this area of the hospital?
Not for me.
I think it'll be okay.
Cool. So yeah, as you make your way through to this area, you see immediately that there is a guard posted up directly outside. There is almost like a small bench and a seat for him behind. Here you can see that one of his hands is kind of like underneath the table, and he tenses for a second as he sees you guys. And you got the impression that he's probably reaching for a weapon, just in case. But sees that you're both wearing... are you wearing a lab coat now, Maynard?
No,
Or
I
have you
think he's
switched
going. I
out?
think he's going full priest mode.
You're going
He's
priest.
gone
Priest.
priest, yeah.
And he'll kind of like recognizing, recognizes you, Wilfred, and he kind of sees a priest next to you and thinks, "What's going on?" But he will say, "Everything all right, gents?"
Yeah, we just
Oh,
we need to
yes.
bring a priest to someone.
I've been asked to provide some spiritual guidance to the waylaid.
Yeah.
Are you reading last right
We're
or
trying something new,
something?
apparently.
What?
Liam's noise after
Yep.
fucking threw me. Sorry.
So, okay, just explain it again for us, lads. I'm just a little unsure of what's happening or what you're trying to do.
I've been asked to speak with some of the inmates, provide them spiritual guidance.
Oh, make a fast talk roll for me, please.
Not
Uh-oh.
good at those.
You are or not?
And he,
Persuade or fast talk? Oh, I'm good at persuade.
I mean, you can
Fast
add to
talk.
it to try and make it persuade. Because it is, so persuade is convincing a person about a particular idea, concept, or belief through reasoned argument, debate, or discussion.
So I
It
can
takes
use persuade.
time,
Yeah.
half an hour. If you
Oh,
want
shit.
someone to persuade someone quickly, use fast talk.
Oh shit, I didn't realise that. Okay. I'm really
It's
bad
fine.
at fast talk.
Does he get any bonuses because he's got fucking Willie
Yeah,
with him?
Let's say just roll. I don't know if it depends on how big of a failure it is. If it's not too bad of a failure, you might roll your fast talk. Because if you get under it, it's real good. If it's not, I'm gonna say that if you're not up, you're still under where I put it anyway. You see like this slight bit of suspicion on his face, but he does then clock that you're a doctor, well, a nurse, or what actually is Wilfred again for us, Liam?
He's an orderly, isn't
yeah.
What's his profession?
Hold up.
What does he believe to be?
I believe it's more on the nurse side of things, more than being a doctor.
So he's a nurse or an orderly?
I will point out, Liam,
Yeah.
in these times, a nurse was almost strictly feminine job.
I think he was orderly. That was how
I think it's something like that.
I think it's classified as a nurse, but he was an orderly,
Right,
young
okay.
doctor kind of thing, is the best way of explaining it.
Yeah.
He would be holding the patients down rather than administering the things. But it's really interesting that he doesn't know, right? But recognizing you are a man of the cloth, what you're saying is likely to be true. He kind of stands up and moves over to the set of doors, and you see that he does, quite rightly so, have a pistol sitting in a holster on his hip, and he pulls out a long chain where you can see a key on the end of it. Moves over, unlocks it, and goes, "If you think that you can show them God, I'm guessing you can believe in anything." And as you guys step through, you hear the door close behind you and that key turning in, and he'll say through the door, as you're kind of walking through, he'll go, "Knock twice," and then twice again with a small gap between. "Let us know who you are. We'll let you out." And as soon as you step to the other side, you can see another 2 guards almost right up against the door as you kind of step through, and the door shuts and locks behind you.
I'll nod to them. Just side note, I didn't realise that's what persuade was. When do you have fucking 30 minutes to talk to someone about a concept? I realised.
Do you want to move your persuade points into your fast talk points? I don't mind doing that for you.
Yeah, yes, probably, because that was more the build I was looking at.
I only found it me as I was talking to you guys, I was like,
new system.
Yeah. This is my second time ever running Call of Cthulhu.
Well, it's
so,
the reason why it was the reason why, Rose, when because this Tuesday, like Ben, there's someone running Call of Cthulhu at our club.
Oh yeah.
You know that Kieran guy.
Yeah.
He's running it.
Vaguely.
And I thought it was interesting. That's why I wanted to share it because new system bullshit.
Yeah. So yeah, you're into a room, and this area is worse than the especially the admin area, but this is even worse than the women's wing. The smell that hits you immediately as you step through into this area is heavy. There are no windows. There is literally just lamps that kind of burning across, but they are kind of low burning, so the shadows seem to appear to elongate as you guys are moving down this. As you look into each of these rooms, there is just cold, empty stone areas. You can hear the sound of someone laughing to themselves further down the corridor, their voice echoing as it shouts up, and you can hear then slight babbling of people talking to themselves, to each other. You're not quite sure. Incoherent, but also not. The odd word kind of pulling out, and you hear it's this weird cacophony that's just brimming underneath the laughter that you hear further down. As you begin making your way down, like I say, once again, you can see these are almost like, in where you have to like lever it down to be able to look in. They're criminals. They're dangerous. They're insane. But you do also see the small plaques that have each of their names. And I'm assuming that you go until you see Cooper.
Yeah.
As this kind of laughter is bouncing over you, you do arrive at it, and the laughter stops short. It's not where you are yet. You're only about halfway down this ward. And as you kind of like see the Cooper underneath this small window, you kind of pull it down and you see there's no window as such. There is just this kind of open space with these thick bars beneath it, so you can see into this room, but it's not enough space for someone's hand even to reach through. You can just see them. A young man who's kind of leaning up against it. He's completely nude at this point. His knees are kind of drawn up a little bit, and he's sitting there, his back ready, resting against it. And as he hears the grate kind of open up, you watch as his kind of head lolls to the side and kind of sees you both. And he just sighs and goes back to looking, resting his head, like I say, the back of it against the wall.
Robert or Coop, we need to speak to you.
Oh, really?
Yes. Want to know about the Brotherhood.
Kind of turns and spits to the side and just goes, all the same. Every single last one of you. Are you trying to join them or something?
No, I wish to stop them.
Oh God. You're going to end up in the bottom of the Thames. Men like you think that you're going to stop them, but you're not going to. We've been trying for years, and yet they make us do their bidding, and we sit here then in a prison for the criminally insane. And I'm not insane, I might add. I might have partook a couple of times, but suddenly my entire life story has been spread out in front of these people, and then they ship me in this room, and I've been here for 6 days. Right.
You say they control you. Do you mean the Poppy Gang?
They control all of us. They have every lawman in their pocket, every member of nobility in their pocket. They all want to serve to this because they are the top of the top, the best of the best, the most noble of us. They've got the bluest blood. And they think that they can rule over us. So if we didn't get rid of the bodies, then they could ship us all in. Every single last one of us would end up in somewhere like this if we were unlucky. I think I must have pissed them off.
Oh.
I just seen the note. Look you. No, no.
Well, stand
Don't
up,
know.
Rose. It's okay. Are you willing to aid us in any way?
I don't know what I can really do for you. What do you need?
Where is this brotherhood? Or would your friends, your gang, be willing to help us?
They can't. I can. I mean, I'm already in here, but they'll be lucky to die. They're doing some fucked up shit up in that estate.
Where is this?
You sure you want to take it all?
Yes.
It's up in Herefordshire.
That is a way.
It's a fucking way and a half.
As long as the ladies get there before midnight, they don't really give a shit.
Can you tell us where it is in Herefordshire?
Do you want me to draw you a fucking map?
If you can. if you do it mad.
He will give you vague directions, and it's on the lower part. It seems to be an estate which you would guess that maybe some sort of lordship would run there. Or at least someone of high standing.
Probably like what Maynard's reaction to it in Herefordshire would be like, that's practically Wales.
Wait.
Way.
Am I thinking of the right one? I'm really bad at geography.
Rose,
Bear with me a second.
Herefordshire is not much more south than Birmingham.
It's next to Shropshire.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Hertfordshire?
I'm thinking of Hertfordshire.
Hey, that's a big fucking difference.
That makes more sense.
I know.
Because I was about to say
This is why I was like, wait, 2 fucking hours to get to Herefordshire from London?
What fucking carriage is this? Like,
Yeah, I fucking know. We've got the Lamborghini
It's
fucking carriage, mate.
I'm so sorry. It's Hertfordshire. I told you I'm really bad at geography. They call it
Rose, haven't you written down?
Yes, I just sat there and thought, oh yeah, that's the one that's just above Luton, right? Like that's the one that's that's just above London. And I'm sitting there to myself going, yeah, definitely Herefordshire is. Genuinely, it's a genuine thing. I am awful at geography. I thought that Shropshire was like it was nowhere near where it actually is. I didn't realise that Cornwall was so far away. I thought that Dorset was closer to. It's a whole deal. I'm real bad at geography, like really bad, impaired almost. But yeah, Hertfordshire. There you go. And we'll give you vague directions at that point. And he's like, happy?
Yes, thank you.
If you do manage to stop him, how are you going to do it?
Sorry, where did you say we were going?
Oh my god, I can't explain this again.
Hertfordshire.
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 Hertfordshire, sorry. My pronunciation's a bit off, so
Luton. Just Luton. We're going to fucking Luton. Alright.
Oh, not Luton.
Luton, the place of evil. Or St. Albans. Depends how fancy you are.
I was thinking of cows when you said it. I was like, what? I've never heard that.
What?
I heard
Okay,
herbs.
okay.
But I'd heard
Herbs,
herbs.
oh.
I was like, is that a cow?
Okay, guys. How are you going to stop them, Mr. Preacher Man?
Expose
Pastor?
their secrets, their lies.
Oh God. I told you all the same. How the fuck are you going to do that? How are you going to expose them?
Evidence to the papers.
The papers that they control?
I'm sure the Lord will provide.
Okay. I mean, maybe if you can get it just out into the streets, let it bill. Might work better. If the common person knows before the lawmakers do.
Could preach it, I suppose. I could get the word out.
Talk to some of the, newspapers, boys, get them to run it with the actual newspaper. Talk to the bawdy houses, get them to tell every Tom, Dick, and Harry that steps through their doors. Let it bleed through the underworld first. Then they can't deny it if everyone believes it. Kind of sits down again at this point.
Well, yeah, I think conversation's over.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Although you're going to need it.
I think so.
Can you get a message for me to somebody?
I will try.
It doesn't matter anyway.
I will.
There's nothing they can do.
Might as well try. That's all we can do sometimes. What is your message?
Kind of at this point, leans forward and he's bowing his head and he just goes, I don't even think they'd want to hear it. Kind of, you get the impression that you're being dismissed at this point. He's not going to give you the message. He feels a little negative about it.
Fast talk.
Yeah, now my new spec fast talk.
If you really want to get it out of him, you can try.
Whether Ben's character would.
Do you feel the need to know what this man's last words will probably be to anybody from beyond this? Go on, fast talk for me, please,
Yeah.
Mr. Oh, sorry, Reverend Maynard Bourne.
Do. Probably gonna fail now. Yeah.
Oh,
buddy.
Mhm.
It's bad, man.
He just kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh, if I even told you you'd persecute me in the same way that every single priest does." And he will kind of lean back at this point, and he's settled in, and he's ignoring the shit out of you. Do you know what I mean? When someone's like, I don't know you there, no. The best way to explain it. You get what I mean?
I think Maynard is clever enough that he thinks he knows what the message was.
Oh, would you like to share with the group? What does Maynard think it is?
A declaration of love to another man.
That was fucking random.
Just a few things he said.
Okay, I mean, no, fair enough. If that's what Maynard thinks, but it's just that just kind of shocked me because that just for me listening to that conversation, that just came out of left field.
It'd be really funny if he just
if it was bang on, I don't know. If it was bang on, that would be fucking amazing. I just
says,
think that was really.
If you're declaring love for another man, it's fine.
Well, I was expecting like a. go fuck yourselves, hope you burn, like type shtick. You fucked us.
Yeah, well, oh, you'll just
God,
say,
what led to that
Yeah, no, I'm
estimation?
curious
Would you
now.
like to share then, or?
yeah. Just a few things about like he said, well, I've done things, but I haven't done what they said they'd done, and then it was just like, well, the religious are always going to treat me a certain way, and it was just a few things where I was like, and why people are locked up in Bedlam. I was just led me down that route.
I mean, you did see on his entrance to it sexual deviance.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
I get the potential logic there because it technically would have come under that in these period.
I guess.
Yeah. I'm following now.
I guess, like, as a partner thing, mate,
Yeah.
I would say if it's to a man, I don't judge the sinner, only the sin. If he doesn't say anything back, he'll just leave.
Yeah, he just kind of hangs his head again, and that's
Priest away.
It.
Okay.
Priest away.
He's
Just
like a
asking,
little
Hey,
what
cave.
does Wilfred do for this entire time? What is Wilfred doing this
I'm just
entire
there with some popcorn
conversation?
in the background, just the other Michael Jackson meme, just
Where the fuck did you get popcorn from?
my imagination.
I think Wilfred just powers down and thinks about what he's having for tea later. I do think. Like...
No, I'm just looking what's going on. I'm not very
Out of the
priestly
game,
here.
I was so tempted to make Wilfred an impatient. I was so tempted. I thought it would be real
It would have
funny.
been fun. It would have been fun.
But
Like,
yeah,
we'll be
you can't really
breaking
do
again.
that for
Like,
another
Wilfred,
person's characters.
you've escaped again. What the hell were you been telling
Wilfred keeps
people?
coming back.
Get back in your tiny
You
little
got
stamp.
out. Why did you come back?
At the same point, that would have asked Liam's character for the rest of the game, and I don't think it was really fair. It was
No.
been
But I was gonna say that would like take him out, and then we go like, oh, Will, like go back in your cell. Like he thinks he works here, but he doesn't.
Delusions
People
of
are probably just
grandeur.
given up. They're just given up, like putting him back in his cell. They're like, oh, if he's just gonna wander around and think he works, like we'll leave him out.
We'll
Yeah.
come back eventually because he thinks he works here.
Oh dear.
So we
But
go
no.
with that note.
You leave.
We'll do the 2 knocks and then the other 2 knocks and have a little bit of
Yeah.
anxiety that they're going to let us out.
It does take a few seconds. Like somebody's taking their time the other side. And they'll eventually open the door and close it, and just the guard goes, I didn't realise that we were having a visit from the clergy today. There's nothing on the planner. Nothing in the diary.
Oh, that could be strange.
Well, sometimes I go where my congregation need me, and I was asked to come here. Not sure how that proceeded.
Don't worry, I'll pass it on to the superiors as you can understand, Wilfred. I'm sure it's all above board. But maybe they'll want to chat with you when you're back in work on... When are you back? Monday? Tuesday? When's your next shift?
I think it's Monday. I have to double check.
Well, and he'll kind of come around and he'll clap you hard and heavy on the shoulder at this point. Like, he's not trying to... he is trying to intimidate a little bit as he kind of like... And he goes, well, have a good weekend then, bud. And I'll give you a good hearty slap on your shoulder that just kind of push you forward slightly.
Oh.
And we'll go back to sitting behind his desk and wait for you both to exit. I assume you then go and hang up the lab coats, put on your clothes and X out the side door, much like the other two did.
I'll give him my lab coat on.
Yeah.
Well, not my lab coat, but my doctor coat. What would you call it now?
What? What do you mean? What's the difference?
You know what lab coat is short for? It's like laboratory coat, but
Laboratory
it is
coat.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the same
It's
sort of
fine.
thing when I'll. Yeah. I
Is
know
that
what I
the
mean.
same as a doctor's coat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhat. We're using one word that isn't technically about now for something that would have been about in those days, but yeah. Whatever.
No, doctor's coat just means just doctor, but doctors don't tend to wear those sort of coats anymore. Lab coat is just for a laboratory, so.
Cool. But on that note, we are going to switch to the other group. Actually, where are you two going when you leave? Got a rest estimation?
I was accompanying.
No, it's not you two.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, I just want to figure out where both Wilfred and the Reverend are going to.
I mean, I presume we'd have made a meeting point before we separated. So like they go do their interview, we all go to the library for a bit and then come back.
White coat.
It's
Thank
probably
you.
like the cafe by the library or something like.
Yeah, we like
okay, cool.
you guys could probably meet us in the library when you're done. Like we're just sort of going there, so we're not hanging around, and so we've got something to do.
Perfect. I am going to ask for a quick break though before we switch over to the other group. So yeah,
If you
quick bio
insist.
break.
If you insist.
I do insist. I do apologise. I can't go for 4 hours without needing a drink.
It's only
or
Danny
anything.
that can.
It's not that hard. Like I don't.
It is. You're about as hydrated as a mummy, I think.
To be
Right,
honest,
back them in.
If you
To be
watch
honest,
me,
I got
have
someone
you
to
ever
make a cup
seen
of
me
tea
when I'm
for
streaming?
me.
I drink shitloads, but
I don't know. I'm
I
gonna
don't
Google
fuck
how
you
often do
mean.
people post a wee. Here we go.
the fuck you mean, bruv? Bruv.
To be fair, I've got somebody to do a cup of tea for me and bring me some pie. So
Good.
Yeah, Danny, can we have a tea, please?
you just asked Danny
it
to
doesn't
make you
work.
some tea. Is he gonna bring
It
it to
doesn't
your
work
house
for
as
me.
well?
It doesn't work for me. Look,
Are you in the same house?
No.
I mean,
no,
doesn't work when you're not in the same house. It's kind of
it's only a
difficult.
10-minute drive.
Not even that, but no.
Oh, okay. It's worth a try.
I meant somebody not playing the game.
So, while we're waiting for those with the weak bladders, how is everyone doing?
I'm doing okay.
Okay. Yes.
I'm just sending you an image now, just showing you how much the sleeves cost, Danny.
Oh,
Because I got it for.
I believe you.
Oh no. Yeah.
I don't need the receipt or anything because you've paid for them to like. But
Oh
no,
yeah, it's my
I believed
card. Yeah,
you.
sorry.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 'cause I got you 100 of the flimsy ones I used, but I got you 25 of the
Yeah, for the
rigid ones for the more valuable cards.
Yeah, I agree. No, I appreciate it because yeah, no, like I said, I'm gonna put them all on eBay tomorrow, which is why I wanted to know. Because if you don't tell me you want it, it's going on eBay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know I'm finding it's me. That is me.
Is you. Because what I'll do
It's
is
insane now.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. It's insane how much the cards are worth, some of them.
What was that, Liam?
It's insane how much some of them cards are worth.
It's not sane.
No, it's insane.
Oh, ridiculously
Like,
so.
You...
You'll have to send me a link to the website you were using. But no, I agree, dude. And it's like if we can find any more, we'll have to grab them. because it gives you a chance to get your hands on some cards that you need and want, and something towards the club or something.
Yeah.
Danny,
Yes.
I want to find boats.
Right.
Mm,
Right.
where are the boats?
Have you checked the ocean?
Has he got a bit of a
Awesome.
boots fetish or something?
Boats.
Boats.
Oh, boats.
I thought you were saying boots as well, to be honest.
No, I knew what he was saying. He was
I was
because
like, why are you suddenly want some boots?
he's
It's
talking
like-
about the D&D campaign, Liam.
Yes.
The
I've
problem,
been harassing Daddy about
you
boats.
have got to. I will just like not to be the party pooper. It's not going to be anywhere as easy as I think you guys are making it out to be.
No, but like we've got
I
to
think
try and
some
do
of you.
something to get a
I
boat.
entirely agree. I'm just be cautious. It's not quite as simple as I think some of you believe it might be. You're not going to rock up to the first boat you see and do some miraculous hoo-ha and you've now got 2 boats. Do you know what I mean? It's just not going to be that straightforward.
Mm. Oh,
Are you guys trying to steal some boats?
Yes, they are. They're trying to make a fleet.
Beg, borrow, steal boats.
Yeah. Beggar boat.
Pick a boat.
Beggarboat.com. But no, like, I just want you guys to be prepared. I don't think any of you have quite grasped, like, just how difficult it's going to be, because not necessarily, because, like, if you have to board a boat and take it by force, like, shit's gonna be, I mean, you are heroes, quote marks, like, your heroic skills. So you are at an advantage, but you are, yeah, it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be very difficult. Not impossible. Not impossible. Difficult.
Well, it's kind of why
And
I kind of
tedious.
want to. Yeah, I think it's more get information. If there's like this pirate or these people,
Yeah,
and then it's
yeah.
like
I think, yeah,
provision
you
to
can.
do
I think
the mission.
I think the thing will probably be is maybe go semi-bounty hunter and hunting fractal factions. Maybe.
Yeah.
That might be
Yeah.
a shout, but even still,
This goes
Not
alongside
impossible.
me training my own. Like we need
yeah, not
people who can board
impossible.
and fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not impossible. Just very fucking difficult.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's going to be a while. It ain't going to be done in a session. I know that.
Well, I'm glad. As long as you understand, because I just didn't want 2 sessions later and people are getting pissy because they haven't got a boat. Do you know what I mean?
No. It's
I
more
just
like
want you
get
guys to
information
understand
and-
how difficult it's going to be.
There's other things I want to do, like build more
Especially to a degree that it sounds like you want them, especially to deal with the likes of the Prescott crew. In game time, it's going to take months as a minimum. Like months, not weeks, not days, months. And then you've got to weigh the options of, is time invested worth the output? God, fuck you, Sparrow.
The the other thing was, I was waiting for Rose and Matt to have this conversation, TTRPG related. The talking about months, weeks, or months. Like, I was thinking, would someone contract us out to do a job further afield, and would that be more profitable? It was just an idea.
What, like Outer Archipelago?
Yeah.
Again, highly impossible. No, highly possible, sorry. You just gotta consider time and things happening, the needs and wants of the people around you. Thank you, Sparrow. I do love
I think we're in that awkward thing at the minute where there's a clock, but we don't know there's a clock.
Yeah. I mean, bitch, I'm straight adorable. But no, that is the problem you've got to remember. Especially with you and Gissa, you've got Nivara's things. Everyone else is not on such a strict timeline, but you two especially are. And you've just got to try and... Can you afford to waste the time? And it's not wasting, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah. Going looking for more Yanti shit sounds like the best course of action. Whilst
Possibly.
breaks in the background. Yeah.
Possibly.
Well, considering we haven't got a thread at the minute, then that...
Yeah, I think the painful thing at the moment is you guys know something's up, but you've got no means to chase it. And I think that's almost painful when you know something's happening, but you don't know what's happening. Because that's got to, like, as someone who doesn't want things to be happening, like, that's got to wind your characters up a little bit.
Hello, I'm back.
Hello.
Are you back?
But yes, on the Unity chat, I have some threads that we could potentially follow on that. But I'll talk to you outside of this game.
Yes.
So, yes. I can see also Danny is wearing his unicorn. Different sort of game, really, but fun.
Look,
Anyway.
Look. I am only wearing this because Sparrow paid me.
Okay.
Don't
Sparrow's in the chat.
read into it any other way.
So, resuming again, we're going to switch over to the other pair. And as our Reverend Maynard and Wilfred make their way to the cafe near to the library, you two have already made your way to the library. It is standard library. There is a attendant who seems to be just hastily scribbling something on some paper, who notices you both as you come in and just gives you a nod as you kind of head through. I assume that you're almost lead in this endeavor, Rosa.
Hannah?
Rosa?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Fuck's
I
sake.
assume you're leading this research.
All right, yeah, sorry.
Okay. What are you looking into?
I am looking into, to be honest, I don't think I'm going to find anything on the gang itself. So I might just do a kind of vague search for any strange happenings or anything mentioned in the Brotherhood, although I doubt the Brotherhood's mentioned. So probably more looking towards unusual reports and strange happenings. I can't believe
Okay.
I'm actually looking this up, but this is the best I can think of.
Roll me a library use, please, Hannah. Oh,
That is bad, sorry.
that's an extreme failure. So, well, yeah, it's bad.
Krypton fell on their own book?
I mean,
It's more
I don't think
so-
I'll find it much, but
It's more so you end up in this weird sort of rabbit hole as you kind of find books referring to ancient mythology and strange odd goings on and stuff like that. But you start like going down and then you realize after a while it's not non-fiction that you seem to be directed towards. There's a lot of fiction that kind of boils in and you're like, oh, that's the story. Okay.
so I've
you-
got. In other words, I got lost in fiction books and something that is especially looking for paranormal things and can't tell the
Mhm.
difference. So it's just a complete waste of time.
It's more so it takes you some time to find out anything, and a lot of it you're uncertain whether it's true or not. You're looking in books that are mainly theorizing what the potentiality could be to do with spiritualism. There's a lot of stuff that's like, oh, the actual origins of ectoplasm. It's just like proper rabbit hole, you know. You spent too much time on Wikipedia and now you're on some random page. And this takes a couple of hours at this point until Oswald's kind of sitting there. I imagine I imagine that you've somehow like relaxed to the point that you're almost asleep, Oswald. Do you know what I mean? It's quiet. It's comfortable.
Like I'd imagine like Lent sat right back in a chair, like daring to put foot on edge of table, and kind of like the hedge just like slowly drifting down.
Yeah, there's a few times where you've kind of like done that weird thing where you like, you startle yourself awake.
Yeah, like
so
I hear
tired.
like a book shut, and that snap noise it makes, and I kind of like sit up a sec for a moment, like, and then you sit back, and then about 5 minutes later, gone again.
Yeah. To the point you can even hear there is this like slight snoring sound. It's not too loud, but it's like this.
No. I'm just resting my eyes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely a dad after Christmas dinner kind of vibes.
Fuck yes,
just
it is.
gone.
But
I feel like at this point I've got onto Alice in Wonderland and I'm reading that and I'm going, wait a minute, well, how did I get here?
Yeah, I would wonder how you got onto that as well.
I think it was written then.
Ooh, 20th century, I believe.
Yeah, it would be about. No.
Yeah.
But anyway, you found yourself in some...
1865.
Oh wow. Okay, never mind. You are right.
So yeah, as you kind of put down the book and see your companion sleeping in the chair opposite from you, and you kind of startle to realization that you are far away from your original endeavor to research into things. You do notice as well the sun has set outside. It must be, getting on in hours. It's maybe, based on the time of year, probably about 6:30, 7 o'clock. Been there for a few hours. The other two, you've been sitting in a cafe for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at this point, wondering where your friends are. Do you remain in the cafe or do you head to the library to try and find them?
I guess we would probably go to find them to find.
Yeah, you walk in on this scene.
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland and Oswald asleep. Like,
Yep.
Hard at work, I see.
Oh. She's looking deep into her research in.
It's hard.
You're reading Alice in Wonderland.
It's hard to tell the difference between paranormal and fiction. That's all I'm gonna say.
So, you
So
brought us to a library to do light reading.
I was looking for the paranormal, but when I was looking at strange things, things got stranger.
Some light reading and some not so light sleeping by the looks of it.
There isn't much on these kind of things. They're quite secretive. I've worked that out.
Yes, I think that is the difference between fiction and reality, that it's probably not in one of these books. And if there are books, evil books on witchcraft, I doubt they will be found in the British Library.
Yes.
Better than staring at you guys in the prison, arousing suspicions, though, don't you think?
Did you find anything of value with the Cooper?
Yes.
Cooper, yes.
Any leads?
Yes. A location of this estate.
Oh, you found the estate? Right.
It's outside a small town in Hertfordshire.
That tracks with an hour or two on carriage.
Yes. Sorry. I'm not
That's
saying
alright.
anything. I won't say anything. I'm not going to say anything.
It's okay. It's
Do
okay.
you have a carriage
What?
if we need it? I imagine I'd have a carriage.
Oh yeah, you're well off, well to do.
The only thing I would like to do before if we are to make foot for there, given what we've been told we're dealing with, I would very much like to make a stop at my accommodation and prepare my tool.
Yes. If we're having a private carriage, I'll bring my firearm along as well.
I have my service rifle and pistol I can collect.
Hunting shotgun.
Hunting quote marks.
Well, did say what I'm hunting. Just...
Oh, fuck off, grasshopper. But yeah, no, like Oswald obviously will mention that because he's always been scared. Like I'm playing this, is like he's although he's a sergeant, he started from the bottom sort of thing. And I know in these times officers and things like this were reserved for only the upper class.
Yeah.
It was never tenure and
no, you had
ability.
to go to university, right?
Yeah. So
university.
like he's always been skeptical of like the upper class and things like that. So that's why he's like he knows these people can be dangerous, especially what we've already seen. So yeah, collecting his service rifle and pistol would be bang fucking on.
Yep, and I'll get and you Maynard will get his shotgun.
This might be like a long shot, but being from a well-off family, would I have any idea or inkling towards what this brotherhood is?
Not yourself. I mean, you've kind of been kept away from it quite a bit.
That's fine.
This is...
As I said, it was a long shot.
No, it's a one shot.
Yeah, it might be a little bit quicker than a 3-shot. Just saying, you're getting through it quite fast, but we'll go with what we go with.
I mean, to be fair, look at the time rows. I think we'll be fine. It definitely won't be a full length third part, but it'll definitely be 3-part.
Oh yeah, it'll be fine. Cool. So
I think we'll get tooled up, carriages arranged, and we all get encouraged to go to Hertfordshire.
yes, Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire, yes.
Yep. I'm sorry.
The thing is, I know you're lying. You're not sorry.
I mean, Luton is the heart of darkness, so...
Oh, not Luton.
Oh dear.
Fucking Tommy Robinson. So let's go.
There's always somebody tuned at that point, just hearing that.
What?
Just Tommy Robinson, let's go. It would not turn out very well.
What?
I don't know. Let's carry on.
Known fascist Tommy Robinson, I'm confused. What?
You know who brought him up.
Yeah, but I didn't understand the laughing. I don't know. Let's move on.
Rose?
Rose?
Yes.
Do you wish to grab the reins of this before they gallop?
Yep. So, where are you going first then?
Well, I think it'd be
What are you
best to
doing?
get the carriage first because, rather than walking the streets with rifles, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, I was assumed like forgot the name of is it Rosa? Would get the carriage and pick us up like at our different houses, so then we can just load these weapons in.
So yeah, I'm assuming it does take. So what happens is we'll go a little cinematic at this point. Rosa, you head back home and manage to get the carriage supplied, even though they do look at you with some slight suspicion because it is getting on in the day, and you arrive home and you're almost like very intense. You're not usually like this, but something is gripping you, some sort of mystery to follow, one that you're not unaccustomed to, but never in this sort of sense. But you do manage to persuade, you know, you have a large stately home, so you manage to get the stables, to get the horses together, everything's provided. But like I say, you do have some slight quirks of the head. Oswald, you obviously rush home, get your service revolver, which I assume that you keep locked away, and as you kind of open it and you see it again, something settles in your chest. You've had a bit of a weird tummy for the latter few hours. Even though you've been asleep, it kind of like reinstated.
Yeah.
And yeah, for the first time in a long time, you're ready to go to war.
Yeah.
This might not be on a battlefield.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go on, Danny.
No, I was going to say to grab my rifle and pistol, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, grab your rifle, grab your pistol. You know, and you're getting ready. I imagine as well that you just do a quick check over, make sure that everything's in order, get your bullets, make sure that everything is perfect. This is
I would imagine as part of a daily routine, or like at least a weekly routine, because they're not in use. Probably is to give them maintenance. So yeah, just make sure like there's no dust anywhere where it shouldn't be or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you pack it up and take one look at the rest of your surroundings. The rooms. Well, do you stay in rooms or are you in barracks?
No, I have a. Because don't forget, although I'm army generalized, I wanted to be specifically TA, territorial army. So I think we put it under militiamen. So yeah, I would have my own house, because most TA sleep in barracks, but yeah, not Oswald. Reasons, we'll figure that out in post.
And there's something that realizes to you as you're kind of like packing, you're going to go, getting everything ready to go, is you've not really got anyone here to say goodbye to. No. You know that this potentially could be dangerous for you, but you're kind of sitting there and the silence is almost overwhelming. And then that weird bubbly sensation happens again and you feel something shift and you're kind of like, oh, I'm going to have to ease up on the pork pies a little bit. Something ain't settling right today.
No. Oswald doesn't ease up on the pork pie. His stomach eases up on its intolerance.
So you quickly grab a pork pie and maybe I imagine...
In fucking defiance, I take one more slice.
Oh yeah, you have one of them pork pies that have like the eggs in the centre and you proper cram it in as you're waiting for that carriage to arrive. We then switch across to Wilfred. Wilfred, where do you go? What do? You got anywhere to go? You said rooms earlier.
Go back to my room, yeah.
Yeah. So, do you grab anything? I just imagine that you just sit in a chair and kind of like, do.
No, I read the paper.
So yeah, you fix yourself a cup of tea, start reading the paper. You're used to the weirdness of humanity. This is the most psychopathic thing. Like, if you're not in Bedlam, you should be in Bedlam at this point. I'm sorry, you're detachment.
Right, so we're about to leave the city for the countryside, where there's a fucking mansion that is full of lords and potentially ladies that are obviously doing heinous, vindictive, and downright nasty shit. And from what we've heard as well, occultism. And your preparation is to have a spot of tea and a fucking crossword.
That everyone's got their badass preparation scenes, and yeah, he's like 4 cross, like
yeah. There's no point in panicking. You can make us more stressed out when we get there.
Okay.
We're gonna get into the carriage, and it's like I've brought a small bag with my gun and stuff. You bring out your shotgun, and Liam brings out the fucking paper and a teapot.
The flask.
I mean,
so yeah, you do this, Wilfred. I don't know if there's anything else that you'd like to do.
I mean,
I think that's a no.
I think he probably relieves himself, just make sure that the tank's empty before he leaves. I don't know.
You know what he does? He goes and gets a pail of water and he has a little, bed bath.
Oh yeah, he freshens up a little bit, changes his shirt.
Yeah.
There might be ladies there. He's found out. I don't know. But now we swing across the city to the small home that you have, Maynard, the empty home.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of rush through the house. It's a nice, humble abode. I'm sure you don't really want flippant trees or weird shots, like small chintzy things. I assume it is just more so
Yeah.
you have what you have. And rush through to your bedroom to where you keep the shotgun, moving it out. And for a moment, you kind of look at it because you know what this means, what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Is there any last moments that you feel? Any sort of
Yeah.
trepidation or any emotion?
He would like start cleaning the barrel. He'd like clean the barrels, and then he'd like break it and sort of put it on the bed, and he'd sit on the bed and like look at a picture of his wife and like have a Bible and just sort of say a silent prayer and then put those two back and then pick up the shotgun and leave.
Oh yeah, you have that moment of like you've already lost something.
It's more
This
like
is still going.
trying to prevent other people from having that loss and asking for God for strength and then picking up the gun and walking out.
Love it. So each of you are picked up by Rosa in her carriage. The gentleman that is kind of you do see, like, obviously sitting at the front is the carriage driver. Is driver the right? The person who's driving the carriage.
Are you
Oh,
saying
so-
we each have time to go home briefly? Is that what
Yes.
you're saying?
Would Rosa like to do something else other than sorting out the carriage?
I'd get the carriage sorted. I'd probably have a bit of a quick sneaky look around my father's like books and that. See if there's anything on this Brotherhood as well as like a last guess,
Ooh.
just in case he's got anything. I'd be like, sneaky.
Okay. On this point, I am going to allow you to roll either library use or occult mythos. Your father has a very weird library.
Okay.
You know this. Your family is a set of explorers who like picking up weird occult knowledge. Give me a roll. It's up to you. Library use or
Would I be able to
occult.
roll history, or would it be occult?
It'll be occult. It's more so you're looking for information on something, not looking for the history of that something. It's going to be a weird one. I'm just saying, library use or occult. Or Cthulhu mythos, I think it is. Mm-hmm.
I have a cult on here, so go with that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, Rosa, as you take this moment and you're rushing through this information and you're trying to remember what's all the information that you found out, everything that Mercy said, everything that you've been kind of dealing with, and you're kind of like flicking through the pages really, really fast, and it's almost like, I don't know, like time slows down as you fall on this page, and as you're kind of looking at it, it's a diary of some sorts. It's kind of strange because you try to, even though you are somebody that inherently knows that there is stuff beyond what your comprehension is, it's more so you're a bit of a cynic. You try and think of the scientific method, I believe. Is that right to say?
Yeah.
And as you're kind of reading it and looking through this information, you realize it's talking about, well, it's talking about the potentiality of essentially an uprising of sorts, but not as in like an uprising of a group of individuals, like a proper revolution. This seems to be more talking about the fact that the person whose account it is has noticed a shift, if that makes sense. Just in the general feeling of being around certain people. They're talking about groups of individuals who seem to be more keen of moving away from actually ruling, like the nobility class tends to do, and more seem to be moving towards discovery and knowledge, pushing this person's account. And it's as you're kind of reading through, this is your father's diary. People have been asking him questions about stuff. And as it's kind of going through, it seems to be circling around this tablet that was found. And you're kind of reading through the elements and you're realizing it's talking about an event in the past. You kind of go through to that page and it's almost like falling into place, and you realize that they seem to be trying to open something. That they're talking about this tablet that has the ability to essentially show the people who are near it an otherworldly vision, and trying to open something, and they need to do something. And it's almost like he's not even certain of what they're asking him, but they're very specific in the way that they're asking him. So he's trying to like put the when somebody's asking you a lot of questions, you can pick up a lot of information about why they're asking these questions, but you still don't know the answer. You don't know the reason why. You just know they want to know the reason why.
So there's a mention of a tablet that my father has had some involvement with, in summary, but he doesn't really know that much about it, or may not have had this tablet even.
It's more he discovered something a long period of time, but as you're kind of reading through, based on your very successful role, you get the impression that your father has passed this over to a group. He's not in possession of it.
How long ago?
He makes the estimation that they somehow got a hold of it. They're asking questions about like, where did he find it? What was the environment? Do you know what I mean? Very specific.
How long ago were they asking these questions? It's a diary, so I imagine it's got a date on it.
Within the past few months.
So recent then.
Mm-hmm. And as you're kind of going through this as well, because you've got a really high roll on this one, you kind of leave that to one side and you're kind of going through everything else and kind of like leading through this information because you remember something from that initial seance that kind of piqued your interest, like a little. And you remember the ichor, the one that you were so interested in at the beginning, that ichor that poured from that gunk. And you're kind of going through and something clicks in your mind. How do people get in that state usually? And something's like going through and you're like, oh, maybe it wasn't ichor, or maybe it was. Maybe it's something rotting or something. What's the word? What's it called when a body's submerged in water to the point it begins rotting?
Well, I think the thing
And
you're trying
spits up black gunk.
Decomposing.
the thing you're trying to think of is black putrefaction. It's a stage of decomposition.
Yeah. And
because you've got putrefaction, which is when the body, once it's bloated, starts to basically fold in on itself. Black putrefaction is when what mass is left turns into that black sludge.
Mm-hmm. And you're kind of sitting there with this kind of knowledge, and something kind of clicks at that point. Whatever it is up to you to decide. What does Rosa think?
I don't know. To be honest, at this point, I'd probably be thinking that maybe she planted it for the shot factor. I don't know.
It's up to you. But was there anything else that you wanted to do whilst you were at home?
I will probably get myself like a kind of, one of those little knives you can have, a little like sort of knife that I can have on me that I'll put on a on like the gussets, like hidden.
Oh yeah. You want about on the garter?
Yeah. So on the so I can have it on the leg under the dress. They can't really see it very well. So that hopefully I won't need to use it. But I think going in with guns as a lady would be a bit inappropriate, and they would get picked up. But
Well, the other thing is as well. Have you ever fired a gun?
That too. So I want to have something for protection.
Cool. So, the carriage rolls in front of each of your houses, the sound of horseshoes on the cobbled streets of London. One by one, you guys enter into the carriage and meet up with the rest of your group before you set off. Is there any discussions that you guys have along the way? Any preparation or final words that you may have?
Maynard would say to everyone, I'm not sure if you're so inclined, but if you will wish me to do a prayer for our safe conduct, I can do.
You're welcome to do so.
Definitely couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
And it'll just be something along the lines of, Dear Lord, please give a safe passage for whatever may occur in the future that we might find, and please deliver us against evil. Amen.
Hopefully, whatever.
Oh, I do have one last question for each of you.
Okay.
How much do you love Jesus?
Can everyone do a spot hidden roll for me, please?
He's here.
Jesus?
General.
Is that
Jesus
you?
is here.
Fuck you.
Spot him.
This is more so to cover the time that you were leaving this is just a general thing for the past few hours.
Ooh.
Nice, Rosa. Nice.
Ooh. Shit, son.
Reverend, it's hard.
I mean, I understand why Liam's character doesn't notice anything. Why me? Why?
You're too busy thinking about pork pie.
Liam's a
I love
fucking.
how you say it as if
Literally,
dice.
Wilfred's a fucking gorm.
I mean,
As you're
dice don't know who you are.
As you're in the carriage and you're realizing this prayer and stuff, and you're kind of like watching as you're kind of leaving from I'm going to say Oswald's place. Oswald, you were the last one to be picked up, or Maynard, it's up to you. Everyone else would have been a little bit southern.
It's probably
Actually, you know
Maynard.
what? It's probably funnier that Wilfred requests to be picked up last because he's got the most preparation to do, and he's
Oh, yeah.
He's just sat there
yeah,
drinking a
and he's
brew.
just sat at home having a fucking wash.
So as you begin this thing, as you're about to start setting off, before you you're saying this prayer, and then you're going to get the driver to start going. And as you do, both Rosa and Maynard spot out the side of a tent somebody looking at the carriage before they then dart down an alleyway.
What does he look like?
It just looks like a man. You can't quite tell. Very indescript, wearing not very nice clothing, in your guys' opinion. And thinking back, you might have spotted similar people throughout the day here and there.
So
But-
is he? When you say not very nice clothes, you mean like a kind of beggar, or like just or sort of wear?
Just a rough, yeah, shirts and breeches kind of deal. Nothing fancy. Maybe a coat that's seen better days.
Well, we've seen a number of them, have we?
Not a number of them, but you're kind of like looking, and as this kind of spot, you're like, oh, maybe once or twice today there's been somebody that's around that's maybe been in similar thing that's been looking at you guys, but you've been so busy. and you didn't really take a minute to look around. So, but I'm giving you this as a freebie.
Is he like, has he run off, or is he sort of there but trying to stay inconspicuous?
It's more so you watch him now as you guys are about to set off, kind of like move down the street, if that makes sense. Like he's trying to appear inconspicuous by leaving the scene.
Is he older or like young adult or child?
Young adult, maybe 20s.
Can we get the carriage to go past? Right, where he's walking on the street.
So yeah, you get the carriage to. He's like walking past you guys at this point as you begin to pull up, and for a second you just see young man in his 20s, fairly nondescript.
Can we
Can I-
try?
Just kind of.
Can we try and take like a bit of an unusual route to see if he follows?
I was going to get out and talk to him.
Yeah, I think that's perfect idea. Because he's
Yeah,
gone.
as you
Yeah, I was
stop
kind
the
of- we don't know
carriage, he's
whether
gonna
it's following
book it.
us. We don't know if he's trying to follow us or not at this stage, though. I mean, it'd be a bit random talk. I mean, what are you going to ask him? I mean, if you want to ask him, fine.
Well, no, he runs off as soon as we stop the
He's
carriage.
running. Yeah, he's gone.
Well,
I don't think you're going to be able to catch him.
No, he's not going to try. He was just going to. The way main order explained, it's like some people want to talk, but they're hesitant, and some people are watching, not wanting to be found. I was just curious which one he was. So I agree. Maybe we take an unusual route out of the city just to cover our tracks.
So yeah, I'm gonna say it takes you a little bit longer because you're obviously going in a wide berth as you make your way out of London, which is a fairly big city, and despite the carriage driver's best instincts, some roads are obviously one way. Well, I don't know if they would be. They're more pedestrian rather than carriage worthy, and there are people milling around because it is late evening, and you can even see people falling out of pubs and the raucous laughter of individuals just having a lovely evening, imbibing themselves in a variety of alcohols and singing bawdy songs and pouring themselves over half-dressed women. I don't know. It's a full-on thing as you make your way through the areas, and it takes you a little bit longer, like another maybe 30 to 45 minutes to get out the city, if that sounds all right with you guys. If you're doing that wide of a berth, try and go unusual.
It's fine by me.
Yes.
Cool. Do you keep a lookout as you go, trying to see if you spot anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can roll another spot hidden for me then, please. The sin of the city is kind of getting to you a little bit, Maynard. You do not hate the sinner, as you said, but you hate the sin, and you see these individuals who are so deep in their cups that they don't even know which way is up, and it kind of sours your stomach a little bit to know that they have gone that far. But yeah, you guys make your way out the city and on the route. Anything you'd like to do as you go? You've got a couple of hours of travel. Do you just sit there in silence?
I'd imagine it's mostly small talk, like.
He has got his Bible, so he is reading that, and then he occasionally checks his shotgun.
Just making sure it's still there.
Oh, he's probably put a couple shells into it now, and he's probably kept it still broken. So.
I'd probably mention that I believe the cult might be looking for a tablet.
A what?
I don't really know, but I get the impression that they're after some kind of tablet.
And how did you... was this while reading
But I found
stories?
Yeah, I was looking through some other books, and I think these ones might, out of the ones that I was looking at, I think the most likely to be a realistic one would be that they are looking for a tablet of some sort.
Was this before or after the Mad Hatter?
I mean, it's after. I mean, you don't need to be rude about it.
That was more of a me thing, but fine.
But like, let's just say that the book that I was using, while I can't be 100% sure on its reliability, is more on a more out of a more unusual library where it's potentially more likely to be based off some form of truth than the fiction books.
Right. And
Obviously,
do you know anything more about this tablet or anything else that might be pertinent? Or is they just looking for this thing?
Well, I believe they've got some kind of tablet that gives some kind of otherworldly vision, and they've been looking for it recently.
Right.
Now, what kind of vision this is, I don't know, but I think it's what they're after. Now, I don't know whether this is partly linked to this brotherhood or whether this is what has anything to do with what we're looking at. But there has been some activity looking into the tablet recently.
Well, hopefully when we get to their estate that we have the ability and the time to look into things a bit more and we'll see if we can make sense of what they're up to. Although I'm less convinced that it's going to be quite as obscure as I think you're probably leaning towards it being.
Oswald, could you make a con check for me, please?
How do I do that?
Click on your constitution.
I don't think I've passed a single fucking check this game. Fucking hell. The literally, my DM look is following me.
Welcome to the thing of where if you DM regularly, you're going to roll like shit. You feel a bit queasy at this point. That pork pie really isn't settling. It feels like something's lodged just in, in the bit where your stomach, like the end bit, and you know how it loops round, you feel like something's stuck there, and oh god, you kind of press your heel of your hand into that kind of area. Some feelings weird.
Are you quite alright, Oswald? You're looking a little bit green around the gills.
I'll be fine, just a bit of food isn't sitting right. Give it a minute, it'll pass.
I see.
Nothing a bit of more pie would fix.
You've eaten a lot today.
If anyone does have a small drink that I could have just to help push and wash anything down, that would be appreciated.
I imagine at this point you're kind of using your handkerchief to like pet the sweat off your brow. You just feel a bit queasy and something's not sitting right.
I'll pass him some water. I imagine I'd have some on the carriage.
Well, how would you carry the water? Unless you've got a teacup.
They don't have bottles then nowadays, did they? Well, would you have your own kit flask or something?
Oh yeah, you'd have some form of carryment, but water wouldn't be. It's a whole thing. But anyway, you offer a little bit of drink so he can obviously try and quell the nausea with a little sip or two.
That's a good point, actually. Would you be carrying water around, or would you just be carrying basically spirits around with you?
Spirits. It's the time of spirits. Like
alcohol is more hygienic than water.
At this time period,
Probably be giving him a nice drink of something.
Usually, in these types of periods, water is for the animals because alcohol's better for the body because it goes through distillation and stuff.
Milk, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was partly. I thought it was partly because alcohol is a antibacterial.
Yeah, but kind of, yeah. And it's because water's just fucking rancid in this time because there's no purification processes, there's no water treatment plants.
Well, alcohol is a kind of water treatment.
So as you're kind of making your way out of the city at this point, you've been traveling for a little bit of time and you're getting into more, not 100% countryside, but getting that way. Do you know what I mean? Like the roads are starting to get thinner. You can see for miles of just dark country out. The moon is high in the sky and kind of illuminate it as time ticks on. and just a steady rocking rhythm of this horse-drawn carriage as you kind of make your way down, seeing the hedges start to rise up on the side of the roads, ditches every now and then. As you start to move through, there's the odd copse of trees here, there, as you kind of make your way through. You get the feeling that you're maybe a few minutes away from the village at this point. As you can see just on these like little pinpricks of light, just a little bit further along the road that you're on. And little pinpricks of light over to the left, kind of heading into this area of trees. Do you let the driver continue forward or take the left?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So ahead of you. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, basically, lights a village ahead, but then there's lights for something that could possibly be the estate to the left.
So based on the directions that you had, you have to go beyond the village to get to the estate. But there's something you can see, oil lights moving on your left-hand side.
I will refer
Just like it's so dark out here that you can see the small pinpricks kind of slightly move just over to your left.
I'll look at Oswald and be like, so your directions that you were given, do you have any clue?
Oswald wasn't there.
It's Maynard.
It was Maynard.
No, sorry, Maynard.
What did you ask me, sorry?
I'm asking you for where you think is most likely to be the direction we're going in, because you're the one that spoke to the guy.
It's further on, and we have to go through the village, but I must admit, that if they are conducting rituals, these oil lines dark, worth looking at.
So do you think we should follow the dark path or go to the village first?
Are you going left or straight on?
He would go left. He votes to go left.
If you're sure. You're the navigator.
Oh, I'm not sure what we'll find, but I think any curiosity we must observe.
So yeah, you follow the carriage down that road, and it is it's not too far away, maybe a few minutes, and the silence kind of creeps up on this kind of sense of anticipation. Oh, and gas, obviously, for you, Oswald. You really aren't feeling well at this point. Like something's stuck. It's hit like a real strange place.
Yeah.
But this kind of sense of anticipation, you can feel like your body's almost like tense as you get closer and closer. The air seems to thin to that pinprick of like tenseness. It is fairly cold, and you're shivering. These goosebumps begin to rise on your skin as you follow and get deeper into this small wooded area, and then begin to pass carriages. There's nobody on these carriages, but like one here, one there. Every couple of maybe 20 seconds, there's another one until you pull up and the carriage stops suddenly. And the carriage driver kind of like, you can hear him shuffling to get off, and he's like knocking on the window. You know him, Rosa. His name's Barry. I don't know.
Barry!
Barry. And Barry's like an older gentleman, maybe in his 50s. He's a little bit like, he's not the most portly gentleman. He's a bit whip sharp, if that makes sense. And he kind of gets down and opens the door and goes, "You guys are gonna want to see this."
Wait, is this what Barry says to us? Or
Yeah. Barry's like literally getting off, and he looks kind of a little shook at this point. Miss Rose, are you sure this is the right place?
sorry, hang on. This is Barry, the driver, asking.
Coach driver.
Yeah. The coach driver's literally got off of his perch, opened the door, and it just looks a bit kind of weirded out.
That's fine. Yeah, a minute ago I thought you were talking about another carriage, and I was like, why are they there?
Oh,
Right,
no,
okay,
there are other carriages here,
Yeah,
like other
I
abandoned
will-
carriages, but you don't see a soul.
I will get up and I will have a look because I am curious.
I assume the rest of you follow. So as you each step out of the carriage, and you all stop, and you see an abandoned abbey in front of you. Its tall windows devoid of any sort of glass or anything. You imagine that this probably, for hundreds of years, has not been an actual like spiritual place as such, or not an operating one for those who are of maybe the faith, maybe another faith, but you wouldn't know that, would you? You can see that there are these lamplights that are kind of like been placed along the route further to where this door is. It is kind of, there's a few areas that are kind of fell into disarray, like the walls kind of caved in slightly, and there are these little stone patches where they have fallen down. But yeah, you have an abbey lit from inside. The shadows are like almost pouring out of this area. These long, dark kind of stretches moving across where you guys are standing in this old entryway, and you can see even that nature has tried to take it back a little bit. There are these kind of ivy stretches moving up the sides of it. There's bramble that's pushing in on the left side across where this entryway is. There's even trees that have like kind of pushed forward their long branches kind of coming over the top of where you are.
I will look at the Reverend and be like, have you ever seen anything like this?
No, seem like what I would think a classic occultist would do, make a mockery of an abandoned place. What you'll do is he'll get his shotgun, put it like hunting strap around his shoulder, and then put like his overcoat over it, so like
It's hidden a
can't see
little.
his packing basically. Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
hanging underneath his long overcoat.
Oswald,
Are we going to
do you
go
do anything?
see?
Yeah, go on, Maynard.
He's just getting. Are we going to see?
I don't believe we came out here for nothing. I believe this is more than the right place. I trust your coach driver here, who have gotten the directions correct. I think we should at least look.
Am I sorry? And he's kind of like standing behind you. Miss Parks, am I alright to go to the village? This place is giving me the heebie-jeebies. I feel like I'm being watched. Do not like this. And you all feel the sense that you are being watched at the moment.
I suggest he goes to the inn and meet him
Yeah.
there.
If that's okay.
How far away is the inn from here?
It will be about 50 minutes as the crow flies for you guys to walk, because you're going over things. It's taking you about 10 minutes by carriage to get to this place. It'll be about 10 minutes in the carriage, but about 50 minutes walking if you go all the I don't know. It'll be intimate. You won't need to worry about getting back home afterwards. Like, you'll be fine.
Ominous.
Well, we have got to worry about getting home afterwards because we'll be fine.
Because everyone always survives Call of Cthulhu games and have happy endings.
Yeah.
Oh dear, don't worry, you'll be home in time for that pork pie at tea time. Or maybe you'll have a meat and potato pie. Really push the boat out with some gravy.
No, he needs to have a bit of health potato leak. He needs to...
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cut down on the pot pies.
No, what we find is he's the one that comes up with the chicken tikka pasty. Like he invents it. That's his like.
No, what it is, Oswald's lineage dates back to Cornwall.
Garnish pasty.
Yeah.
We'll find out. We'll find out that there's something in that pork pie that and he's gonna, I don't know, sprout wings or something. Who knows in these kind of things.
Wait, who injected my pie with Red Bull?
I'm not giving anything away.
Yeah.
You just don't feel very well, Oswald.
Doesn't feel very well, and then he starts vomiting.
I mean, to be
later,
fair, I
and
haven't
it's
been
like,
feeling very well since I touched the prostitute in the madhouse. It's probably something transmitted, that's all.
We'll talk about it after the end of the game, because I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
But yeah, something has happened. Anyway, carrying on. Let's keep going. So, yeah, the carriage draws off at this point, and it kind of heads a little bit further up, and you guys are standing outside of this abandoned abbey. What do you want to do?
Go ahead.
So yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
first, let's have I just want to have a look in the windows and just see if we can see, like, candlelight.
Yeah.
do a spot hidden for me, please.
Well, if I could see, it won't be in.
Hi, I'm
you.
Barry Scott.
Fuck you.
Oh, Danny, you're gonna die. I'm so sorry.
Fuck you. I've failed.
You're really not having a great time.
Single fucking check. Fuck
I
you.
will give that it's pretty easy to see there is light inside.
Yay.
It seems
Fucking
like
mercy.
the light is in sight. So you have the lights on the entryway coming up, and there are lights inside because you can see their light coming through the open places where windows would have been.
So there's most likely people in. Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah. So the area is you're outside in this kind of like entryway where back in the day probably there would have been a garden of some sort, but it has come rather overgrown as such. You have these carriages that have been left in this area and on the route up to here within minutes walking distance. It is a little creepy, and with every step as you get closer to those doors, the oil light flickering on the side of you, just every step it kind of like that notch increases a little bit further and you become more on high alert. Can everybody roll me a spot hidden now, please?
Oh dear.
Oh,
Oh,
I fucking
Jesus
did it, but so
Christ.
did everyone. Like, I fucking passed, but then everyone else got better than me. It's just like, okay.
You failed the
So-
first, then you succeeded, so you know.
That you guys do get the sense that you are being watched, much like the gentleman, your Barry, had mentioned. And as you're stepping closer and closer, you kind of all clock this at the same time. You can hear voices, and as you get closer to those doors, the voices are echoing from below. As you're kind of getting closer and closer to it, you can see this area where there are lights set up, and it's this tunnel heading downwards a little bit further in. There is nobody on this top layer, but you can hear the chanting voices bouncing up.
I like
This tunnel.
shorts.
You know, for all the people that are in fucking Bedlam, it really is the wrong people when you hear shit like this. Of course, pardon the rude language, but it's true.
It's right. It's in a weird kind of amalgamation of something different, a little bit of Latin spread in there, some ancient Egyptian. There's like all these languages kind of pouring over each other until it sounds like gobbledygook, effectively. But something's so right about it. You want to go further in. You want to see what's going on, right?
Yes.
Or do you turn tail and run?
I mean, we're here now. I might as well keep going. It's a
Agreed.
50-mile walk 15-minute walk to get anywhere else. So.
Cool.
I think
So
it's
as you guys-
50. It's 50.
Yeah,
I've said
it's a
50.
fair jaunt. So as you guys begin making your way down these stairs, and this tunnel sorts of splits halfway round, and you can go left or you can go right.
What's the difference that we can see?
I don't know, it just curves further down out of you. You do see on the right hand
Which one's
side
the
there is
chanting
almost a
coming
little both sides. You can see on the right hand side there seems to be maybe a little bit of a lip, like there might be another room further down, but it's a bit difficult to tell from this angle. You can just see the shadowed side of an archway.
Did you say that's right or left?
Yeah, to your right. But you can hear it coming from both directions.
Which way looks like it's got the most cover?
It's you can't see anything but the corridor. You don't know. Unless you go down one of them. Left or right.
I say right.
Okay.
Might is right.
So yeah, as you're kind of like slowly making your way to the right, and you do kind of come across
A great
this
or a good?
Great.
room, the small lip that you kind of, and as you, I'm assuming that you peer around to see what's in, and you can see, well, cloth hanging. Just some of them are empty, some of these weird hooks are, but this kind of weird dark fabric that's just hanging there. Multiple of them. And you
Nothing in
continue
them.
on.
Just... Yeah.
No, just cloaks of some sort. And as you continue on round. Oh,
Wait. Do we put on the cloaks? Maynard will say, do we go in disguise from here on in?
I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had the feeling we've been being watched for quite some time. Does it really matter at this point?
Fair point.
I know I'm not the only one that's felt it.
No.
Or is it just some fucking sick joke?
so
There we are,
you
let's
leave.
proceed.
Yeah, you leave the cloaks hanging where they are, and continue on down the right side, and you see eventually you hit, well, a large room, this kind of circular room, and you can see there's another point over the opposite side where it enters into. The level that you're on is quite high up in the area of the room. You can see this dome-like ceiling where a long chain hangs and a massive chandelier of weird twisting, well, metal, wrought iron. Well, I think some of you might have seen tentacles before, right? Maybe you've seen an octopus being chopped up in the fisher markets down at the docks. And in each of these kind of weird tentacles that are roiling over each other, there is hanging candles that illuminate this space. On the inside of, so there's about a 10-foot walkway that kind of heads down, and you see further on round, it's like this weird circular shape that spirals down. You can see archways looking over into the main area, and even standing in these archways you see people that kind of turn to look at you. Their chanting continues, and you see the faces of normal everyday people, and they just look at you, and then one by one they all kind of point further down the spiral.
The chanting in English?
It's a weird amalgamation, like I say. It's all sorts of different languages boiling over with something else. It's really difficult, but they just seem to be repeating a similar phrase, like 3 lines of text over and over again. You kind of pick it up after you're kind of standing there for a minute. And they're looking at you.
What's 3 lines
I can't type it out because it's not real life. It's not real speech. It is just weird.
Shorts. No. We
Thanks,
like
Ben.
shorts.
It's alright. I thought when you said it was like 3 lines of text, it sounded like certain words.
No, it is just gobbledygook to you. it makes you want to listen, but it is just gobbledygook. But you do see them turn around, and the one who's nearest to you kind of points further down. Newcomers
So as
have
far as
to.
we're aware, it could just be sound like shower the horse, shower
Yeah,
the horse.
it could be whatever you want it to be. But the one who's nearest to you does kind of point down and goes, newcomers have to be indoctrinated first. And they will point further round the circle.
Does the chandelier look like actual flesh or just tentacle-like?
Oh no, it's wrought iron. It's like just shaped in this kind of way of tentacles. Like it would have cost a pretty penny to do it. But there's nothing otherworldly just yet, just a room full of chanting people.
So they point us further into another chamber.
No, they point further around the circle, so it's almost like a spiral heading down. This weird kind of sloped angle to where you are, and then you head down to the next level. It's like circle upon circle upon circle, if that makes sense.
It's like a spiral, yeah.
I don't like the sound of indoctrinated.
But you see candles and that kind of thing on the inside, kind of illuminating the space along with the candles in the kind of area. And as you begin to head down, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as you make your way down, every now and then you will notice that someone will turn to look at you, and they look like everyday people. There's got to be about 40, maybe 50, 60 people in this room. All of their voices kind of accumulating together, and this whole, it might be that they're just bouncing, and some of them are actually just the echo of their words. And as you kind of make your way down, every now and then someone will just point further down, just like this kind of following. And as you get to the bottom of the chamber, you see more people, but then they're kind of standing around the center of this large space, and you see upon a dais a bowl and a stone tablet. The bowl is filled with liquid, this what you seem to be maybe wine, this dark red kind of light, not like viscous, but like it looks to be wine of some sort. You watch as the man who's standing at the head of it, his face completely covered by a mask of, like the comedy mask. This one seems to be a grinning face, like ancient Greece, as he scoops some of the liquid out and hands it over to the next person. They take a drink. Then it goes to scoop to the next person. They take a drink. And he spots you guys. Well, this person spots you guys. And goes, step forward. Please. Brothers and sisters.
Step forward.
Do you wish to know the truth? To seek new power?
Truth, yes. Power, no.
We can always do with those who wish to know knowledge beyond what is real and what is perceived. Drink. And it's filled, and he hands it over to one of the people standing next to him, who begins to move towards you, this goblet in hand, who moves it towards you.
I would wave it
and
away.
he goes, you should
Come
drink.
here for answers.
That is the only way to get answers. We were all once the same, stretching out until we were led into the brotherhood by those who understood.
I don't
Trust
wish
me.
to join you. I wish to know the location of Ethel.
Who? And then you watch as one of them kind of moves towards him and starts whispering in his ear as he's watching you, and you say,
I'd say common street girl you probably know, thinking of, probably dumped someone.
an unfortunate but necessary measure. she'd swayed one of our own, made him think that he could run away from all of us, and so she knew too much. I believe they put her at the dock, the East India dock. I'm sorry for your loss if she meant something to you. I understand how a pretty girl can sway a man of the cloth.
All life is sacred. Butchers forget this, I see.
So what are you here to do then?
I'm not sure.
You should drink.
I won't.
What about you? And his gaze kind of falls over to Wilfred. Will you drink?
I would drink, yeah.
For fuck's sake.
The person that is holding the drink will move towards it, and you watch like this person, like the comedy mask, and suddenly like he moves forward a little bit, and the candlelight kind of illuminates it and makes all the grin appear to be more intense, and you are handed the drink.
Oh, sorry, what's in it again? Sorry.
The truth. Drink up, brother.
Wilfred, don't. Do you want to be like them?
I'll hand it back.
Oh, please do not dissuade from the fact that this is where true power lies. Do not listen to him. He is trying to pull you away because he believes that his way is the right way.
I really must have to think about it, but I'll hand it back.
You make me laugh. I'm
I'm going to try a little sip. Who's going to tell me? If you tell me
Do you sip it?
No, I'm going to hand it back.
Do it?
I'm actually going to... No.
It's still a fucking house wine. Jeez.
And then he'll kind of his gaze will move to Rosa and go, "Sister, will you drink?"
I'm not thirsty right now.
Oh, you poor fools.
I think the question is not whether we'll drink or not. The question is, are we allowed to leave?
I was kind of thinking that. I mean, it might be a bit stuck, but...
I mean, you can if you want. Oswald, can you make a body check for me, please?
Pork pie alien on its way.
I'm looking for it. I don't have body.
Constitution, so sorry.
Okay.
But it was under body.
Fuck off.
Aww.
But you have such a high constitution!
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god, when it picked you, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have the worst time. Okay. So, there's two things that happen very quickly. Oswald, you feel really sick, like you're going to throw up right now. At the same time as you will watch somebody be like plummet and splat in front of you. Like the sound of cricketing, like bone against stonework, like crunch. And you watch as the man kind of like jerks his head up. And that's where we'll end it. Because I feel like that's proper cliffhanger, ready for the final act.
In like
finale.
3 months.
No, we will get it a little bit sooner now, I promise. We'll get it sorted. But yeah. Everybody had fun?
No. Fucking dice. Fuck me.
They really did not like you,
It
did they,
sounds like
Danny?
you're going to be the first to turn.
Mate,
despite
I
having a high
got it
chance.
worse than fucking Ethel did.
If you want, we can talk about it outside of session. But yeah,
Yeah, just me bitch about my dice. Yeah,
yeah.
but no, for
But
those.
no, I hope.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, go on, Danny. You do.
No,
Yeah.
no, go on.
No, I was just gonna say I hope everybody had a good time,
I did.
and yeah,
And I hope people that
ready
were
for the next
watching
one.
on the Twitch and the YouTubes are having a good time. For those that are on YouTube watching this not live, we're going to say goodbye to you all right now. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.